From KPAX and MTN Sports, this is Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
2007 was another banner year for the Montana Grizzlies. The Grizz won their first 10 games of the season heading into their matchup with Montana State in Bozeman that year. And behind a big performance from Lex Hilliard, Montana played a game to remember in this storied rivalry for their bid for an undefeated regular season. The first quarter from that Montana State game in 2007 begins after this.
It's time for kickoff on Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
The Montana Grizzlies take the field in Bozeman with a shot at a perfect season. Standing in their way, cross-state rivals, the Montana State Bobcats, under first-year head coach Rob Ashe. Can the Grizzlies add another victory to this historic rivalry? Or will the Bobcats spoil the day and win bragging rights for another year? Find out next on the D.A. Davidson Big Sky Classic.
This is the D.A. Davidson Big Sky Classic, presented by Montana's news station.
Bragging rights for another year on the line today here in Bozeman. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Bobcat Stadium on the Montana State campus. Grady Bennett, Mike Callahan along to bring you today's game. And if you like defense, folks, well, you got a treat coming up. We get to watch a couple of the best defensive players in the country today, and we start with the Bobcats. Mike Callahan, a former Bobcat linebacker, and we get to watch Bobby Daly today.
Yeah, Bobby Daly is, I mean, there's no disputing he's the heart and soul of what has been a pretty outstanding Bobcat defense. So making his, I think, 23rd straight start for the junior out of Helena Capital today. He leads the Big Sky, and he's 5th in the nation in tackling per contest. His 122 tackles that he comes in today with is almost 2.5 times the production of any other Bobcat defender. And I think what's most impressive about Bobby Daly, and you'll see it again today, is that he brings it every play, each and every game. He's a guy, he's delivered double-digit tackles almost every game for the last 2 years. So you mentioned Buck Buchanan Award finalist. He's earned his way onto that list with his consistent play. And on the other side of the ball for the Grizzlies, a Buck Buchanan Award finalist of their own, and Grady, as a former quarterback, I'm sure you got to know a lot of defensive ends quite closely, and Croy Bierman has got to be up there among some of the best.
Absolutely. When you look at the line of great defensive ends that Montana has had, Croy Bierman steps in as the next great one, and he's really the player that defines Montana's great defense. You know, they're defined by playing so hard. They don't take plays off, and they have so much depth that if you don't play hard, you're not going to be on the field. Well, Croy Bierman never takes a play off. Just an incredible athlete. He plays so hard. His motor is unbelievable, and he really sets the tempo every game for this Montana defense.
Well, it will be interesting to watch on both sides of the ball. The weather has held off for the most part here, but we are starting to see a bit of precipitation as we approach kickoff. Stay tuned, folks, because we will be back with the start of the game, the 107th meeting between the Bobcats and the Grizzlies. We're here to add another chapter to that battle that's been going on for over a century here today. Stick around. We'll be back with kickoff next on College Football Saturday. Rivalry week here in Big Sky Country. We are at Bobcat Stadium in Bozeman, everybody. Welcome in for today's game between the Grizzlies and Bobcats. Phil Buck, Grady Bennett, Mike Callahan up in the booth. Rob McPherson and Amanda Maynard roaming the sidelines for us today as we get ready to start the big game, the 107th meeting between these two programs. The Bobcats won the toss, and they have deferred. The Grizzlies have elected to receive to start the game. Initial thoughts, guys?
Well, you can't beat it, first of all. It's rivalry Saturday around the country. This is going on all over the place, and just there's so much emotion. I think one of the things that's key to look for early in this game is a little bit of nervousness. Obviously, both teams are keyed up. Again, that emotion is running high, and what team is going to come out and really start well early and execute? What team's going to come out and maybe make some early mistakes because of the nerves? That's one of the key things to look for as we get started here today.
I think something else that kind of tells the tale of the tape a little bit and what this game is all about for Montana State. You know, this is it for them, and you look around on that kickoff team and you'll see several starters of their defensive union that normally are not on this unit. So clearly they are going to push everybody to the limit. If they need a break later, they'll find somebody to get in there, but they've got a bunch of starters on this kickoff unit to get this thing going.
Eric Fisher, the sophomore from Billings West High School, set to kick off, and we are underway from Bozeman. Kickoff taken at the 10-yard line by Mark Mariani. Mariani across the 20. Has a hole across the 30, forced out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Let's take a look now at our offensive starters for the Montana Grizzlies, brought to you by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management, your benefits at work.
Cole Berquist from San Clemente, California.
Lex Hilliard, Flying High School.
Eric Allen, Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Art Mariani, Havre High School. Mike Farrader, Helena High School.
Stephen Fowler, Frenchtown, Montana.
Cody Baylog, Stockton, Washington.
JD Quinn, Garland, Texas.
Colin Dow, Billings Senior High.
Terry Nilsson, Sydney High School.
Brent Russell, Lewiston, Idaho.
First and 10 from the Montana 38. Lex Hilliard, the senior out of Kalispell, gets the handoff to start the game. And let's now take a look at our defensive starters for the Montana State Bobcats, brought to you by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management, your benefits at work.
Dane Fletcher, Bozeman, Montana.
Aaron Papich, Great Falls, Montana.
Brandon Hoffenbecker, Kalispell, Montana.
Deshaun Bobo, Moreno Valley, California.
Bobby Daly, Helena, Montana.
Will Claggett, Marysville, California.
David Taylor, Galveston, Texas.
Michael Beach, South Central LA.
Kevin Ritoriano, San Diego, California.
Second and 9 for the Grizzlies. Bergquist completes a pass to Rob Schulte across the 45 out to the 48-yard line, very near first down yardage.
Great job by Schulte right here. If you look, this is what you try to teach all of your perimeter players, receivers, running backs. You make a catch out there, get the ball directly up the field, north and south. So many times guys will make the catch, they'll dance around a little bit, they'll try to go sideline to sideline, and the speed of a defense will not allow them to get the first down. But boy, Schulte does a fabulous job. He catches it, he gets right upfield and puts the Grizzlies in position for a first down. Looks like we might get a measurement here, but nice job, Schulte.
And the Grizzlies receivers certainly will have to step up. Montana losing their top wide receiver, senior Ryan Begley, in last week's game at Idaho State, a broken arm, and there you see about 6 yards short of a first down.
6 yards inches. Or 6 inches.
That's an awful short 6 yards, excuse me.
Well, I tell you what, Phil, either way, though, this is what Montana wants to do. You know, their first two plays, and we've talked about this a lot in the broadcast we've worked together, is so many times not good success on first and second down, which leaves them in third and long. So the Grizz are going to take this third and short stuff all day long if they can get it.
Hilliard gets it on third and short, rumbles through the yard for a first down across midfield.
Well, and Hilliard looks good right away. Obviously, we know he missed last week's game with the injury. Maybe the week off was good. He's been running so well. He's really looked great in his last 3 starts especially, and looks like he feels good out there today and off to a good start.
Yeah, it's so important, I think, to get, particularly this game when the nerves are so high, is to get things going and relax a little bit. Bobcat defense bending a little bit right now. They're going to need to get some stops to sort of cool this Grizzly offense off.
Bergquist out of the shotgun on first down, looking for Mike Farrader, and it goes out of bounds, incomplete. That brings up second and 10.
You know, Mike, both these defenses today are really similar. They both have outstanding leaders. We talked about Bob Daly and Croy Bierman at the top of the broadcast, but they're both going to line up in pretty base defenses all day long and just count on their guys to execute.
That's exactly right. I think both defenses are willing to give up some yards, but they get tougher as this field shortens.
Rob Ash, the head coach of the Bobcats in his first season here at Montana State, said he's been very happy with his team's red zone defense so far this season. Second and 10. This is Hilliard. He picks up about 7 on the play. That will bring up third and about 4.
Well, good push by the Montana offensive front. Obviously, the battle's going to be won in the trenches ultimately in every football game. And right here, you'll see they're going to bring the guard around, but a good push on the left side. Look at the push upfield that Montana gets. They bring the right guard around into the hole, and just a good gain on second down. And again, a manageable third and 4, it looks like, for Montana.
Bergquist again working out of the shotgun. Has time and has Mike Farrader across the middle. Brought down at the 35-yard line. That will move the chains for Montana.
Well, and Mike, just as we talked about Montana State lining up in a little bit of a base defense most of the afternoon, we see them bringing some heat here. They don't blitz too much to the Bobcats, but they bring some heat here. Montana does a nice job of picking it up. And then the key is Mike Ferreter runs a good route and gets open. One-on-one on the safety, Ritoriano. He gets the job done and makes the catch.
Jeff Brown, Kevin Ritoriano in on the stop for the Grizzlies. Brings up a 1st and 10 from the Montana State 24. Hilliard hit in the backfield and brought down for no gain. Dane Fletcher.
Well, Dane Fletcher, he is the guy for the Bobcats this year as far as getting upfield and getting those tackles for loss. You can see he makes a nice little swim move here, and as the play comes to him, he is working upfield. Gets a little help there at the end by Rashawn Bobo, and they have a tackle for little or no gain.
Fletcher, the sophomore defensive end from right here in Bozeman High School. 2nd and 11. Montana with a heavy set. The toss to Hilliard. Looking for room and has none. Fletcher with a wrap up in the backfield for a loss.
Again, Fletcher is their guy getting upfield, but really he's got to better be patting his buddy Bobby Daly on the butt when he gets back to the huddle here, because Bobby Daly got out in front of this play. You can see on the replay as it comes outside here, Bobby Daly steps up and really gets this thing turned back into the other players and allows Dane to come up and make another nice play.
4 wide out on the field for Montana on 3rd and 13. Mike Ferreter, the man in motion. Bergquist wrapped up and sacked. Bobby Daly.
Big stand for the Bobcats right there, Mike. The Grizzlies had put a nice offensive drive together, back-to-back first downs, get down almost to the red zone, and Montana State says no way. 3 negative plays in a row, just a huge stand. And you talked about the excellent red zone defense. You see it right there. Montana State putting down an initial statement that when you drive down into here, you're not going to get anything on us.
Dan Carpenter on to attempt about a 50-yard field goal. Carpenter's kick has the leg. And
Amazing.
He is good.
He's amazing. I'm telling you, this kid, what a career. I know today Dan Carpenter has a chance to set a lot of amazing records. We're talking national type records. Just an amazing career that he's had, and that's a great kick in the weather conditions today to get things started for Montana.
Well, Grady, you said it. He just did set a record with that field goal. Dan Carpenter becomes the all-time scoring leader at the University of Montana. He passes Chris Snyder. Carpenter now with 395 career points for the Grizzlies.
Well, and he just snuck it in there, but he's just so solid. I mean, when he gets on the field, there's such confidence. Everybody knows that it's going to have a shot at going in no matter where he lines it up from. And, boy, good start. Montana, again, a pretty good drive, but you see Montana State with a really good stand. So both teams kind of showing, what they can do, flexing their muscles respectively. And now the other sides of the ball get to show their stuff.
Yeah, this is an area that the Montana State kickoff return team really started to get untracked last week against Portland State. Had a little bit different look, and they looked like they were always on the verge of breaking them the next one. And on the other side of the coin, the Grizzlies take great pride in their kickoff team. Gave up one last week at Idaho State, so they're going to come out and try and avenge that. And I know Coach Houck, that's sort of one of his peeves, is he coaches a special teams guy, and he takes a ton of pride in them getting the job done.
Well, absolutely. I guarantee you this unit right here for Montana, this kickoff team, got a lot of extra work in this week after last week giving that up to Idaho State.
There you saw your MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive. For news and statistics on all Grizz athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. And that was Josh Lewis with the return out to about the 30-yard line. Let's take a look now at our starters on offense for the Montana State Bobcats, brought to you by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management, your benefits at work.
Demetrius Crawford, Fairfield, California.
Josh Lewis, Pittsburgh, California. Deion Tolliver, Long Beach, California.
Derek Green, Billings, Montana.
Brandon Bostic, Missoula, Montana.
Peter Jensen, San Diego, California.
Jim Polanic, Anaconda, Montana.
Jeff Hansen, Great Falls, Montana.
Jeff Miller, Pocatello, Idaho.
So the Bobcats start with an empty backfield, or check that. Now run into the eye on their first possession of the ball game. They hand off to Demetrius Crawford. Has a hole. Out to the 40, passed or brought down right at the 40-yard line. Let's take it our starters on defense for the Montana Grizzlies, brought to you by Allegiance Benefit Plan Management, your benefits at work.
Troy Bierman, Hardin High School.
Kelly Kane, CM Russell High.
Craig Mettler, Walla Walla, Washington. Sounds so nice to name it twice.
Mike Stadnik, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Kyle Ryan, Billings West High. Lone Utterback, Fort Bend High School.
Tyler Joyce, Aurora, Colorado.
Quentin Jackson, the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington.
CC, Chris Clark, Hub City, Compton, California.
Corey Thomas, Beaverhead County High School, Dillon, Montana.
Colt Anderson, Butte High School, Butte, America.
And we have a flag now on what would be 2nd and 3, but the play blown dead. We will check the penalty marker.
Number 84 offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Brandon Bostic, the junior tight end from Missoula, flagged for the false start. That'll back up the Bobcats. You see Jim Leno, today's head referee, making the call.
Well, that's what we talked about, some of those early errors. Again, lots of emotions, lots of nerves out there. Everybody wants to perform well, of course, on the big stage that is the GrizzCat game every year. And sometimes you'll see some of those errors early on.
Here's Crawford again. And again, out to the 40.
Another good, we've seen, that's twice now where we've seen Crawford have a nice hole. This offensive line here does a good job. They open the hole. He is really, even though he is a smaller back, he is an up the field runner, and he likes to find that crease and hit it up in there, as you can see here. The Cats would really like to establish him early, because they do not, with that great Grizzly defensive front, they do not want to become one-dimensional today and have to throw the ball.
Colt Anderson, the junior safety from Butte, stepping up to make the tackle. It brings up 3rd and 3. Rolovich looking. Intended for Josh Lewis, but it's overthrown. That brings up 4th down.
Well, and a couple things there, Mike. I know right away the penalty, you got to go kind of to that penalty. Montana State had some nice plays, but ends up moving themselves backwards a little bit and not able to convert on their first drive, get a 1st down, which is, something you just can't do in a game of this magnitude. But, Montana State did a nice job, I think, right there, trying to mix up the Grizzly defense with some sets. They'd line up in a 5-wide package, make the Grizz adjust, and they'd shift back into a little bit tighter package and run the ball. So something Montana's definitely going to have to adjust to all day long.
Eric Fisher on to punt for Montana State, also handles the place-kicking duties. And a deep punt fielded by Mark Mariani at the 12-yard line. Mariani across the 20, brought down at the 22. And that's where the Grizzlies will take over when we come back. Montana up by 3 early on in Bozeman. Welcome back to Bozeman, where the 3rd-ranked Montana Grizzlies have a 3-0 lead. Early goings here in the first quarter. Phil Buck, Grady Bennett, Mike Callahan up here in the booth. Montana with a 1st and 10 from their own 23. Bergquist, the bubble screen to Mike Ferreter, and gets across the 30. Knocked out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Let's check in down on the sidelines with Amanda Maynard.
Well, coming into this game, Dan Carpenter needed just 3 points to surpass Chris Snyder for the all-time career scoring leader for University of Miami, and he got that with that drive just a few minutes ago. 392 career points for Carpenter, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of him this game. Thanks. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much. Certainly, Carpenter, a historic kicker here at the University of Montana. We have a stoppage of play.
We've got a Bobcat down on the Grizzly sideline here, and looks like number 13, Corey Austin, which Corey Austin trying to battle back with a bad ankle that has been bothering him for about 6 weeks. That was his first play on the field. You can see there was Eric Allen let up on that bubble screen and had a great block on him, and it really appeared like Corey just had no push on that ankle. So I'm pretty sure that's the last we'll see him. He is up today, but I mean, again, a great effort to be on the field today, but probably not fit to play.
Yeah, you got to give the young man credit, Mike. We were talking before the game, and that's one of the things about the GrizzCat game. Every year, you're going to get everybody's very best effort, their valiant effort. They're going to try to do whatever they can to be on the field. It's the last time, maybe for many of them in the rivalry, and Corey Austin giving it a go today. Unfortunately for him, probably that'll be his last play today.
Unfortunate for the seniors. Senior day here in Bozeman, as a lot of these Bobcats will be playing their final game in the blue and white and gold. Here we are with a 1st and 10 for Montana, now from the 37. Bergquist flushed out of the pocket and slides down at the 44-yard line, picks up about 6 on the play.
Well, Cole's been doing that so well all year. I think just making great decisions. He's really been efficient. You know, all year long I've talked about how efficient Cole has been, not feeling like he has to do anything too special or dramatic, but just do his part in the offense. And a lot of times that's when everybody's covered, you step up in the pocket and you get what you can, and that's what he does right there.
2nd and 3. Hilliard, the lone back. And here is Hilliard with a big hole up the middle, across midfield. Stutter steps at the 45. Finally brought down at the 30-yard line. David Taylor with the tackle, but Lex Hilliard with a big gain to pick up another 1st down for Montana.
Great blocking on the right side. Dan Carter, Brent Russum, look at the huge hole you're going to see right there. Good job on that right side. And also the center, Colin Dow, getting up on the linebacker, Bobby Daly, who's a great player and is hard to block. Bobby Daly is so good at avoiding blocks, but Colin Dow is able to climb up to the 2nd level and pick him off. You'll see it right here. Actually, it's going to be Dan Carter who gets him. Bobby tries to avoid the block, and then Lex just with a nice cut right there. But good blocking and good running by a very good running back.
1st and 10. Here's Hilliard again. Again up the middle and picks up 5.
Well, you can see they're moving it pretty well here. The linemen up front for the Grizzlies have so far done a great job with these the defensive front for the Bobcats, and they did it again on that last play. They're just getting to their man and sustaining those blocks for long enough to let Lex get upfield.
Well, and again, you know, Phil, we know that Lex took the week off last week, obviously due to injury, and man, it looks like it might have helped him. He is sharp and really looks crisp early on today.
Hilliard having surgery on his hand 2 weeks ago to repair some damaged ligaments. Back in the lineup today, Bergquist looking for Mark Mariani, but it's dropped. The incompletion brings up 3rd and 5.
Well, and it was a good throw, a route that Montana's run really well all year, and Mark Mariani getting his chance now to be the guy. He's had a great year, but now a new role for him. Now he is a starter. Ryan Begley goes down last week with that real unfortunate injury, and Mark Mariani now has to step up and play from a starter's role versus playing from a backup role, which is a little bit different.
Bobcats looking for another stop on 3rd down. Bergquist feeling pressure and gets rid of it.
Well, the Bobcats, you know, appear to have got another stop here, at least forced them into the field goal attempt. They spread that defensive front way out wide on this play and try and get people upfield. You can see it starts to close down, and he does a smart job, Bergquist, of just throwing the ball away on the outside.
Yeah, and Mike, I've noticed 2 times now on 3rd and long, the Bobcats have switched from their base 4-3 front into a 30 front, an odd front, and 4 linebackers now a chance to bring a little bit more pressure with some better athletes. Bobcats have used it twice very effectively.
Dan Carpenter trying to tack on to his record, and he does. Another field goal puts the Montana up 6-0.
Well, the Grizz will take it. Obviously, you want to get down there and you want to get into the end zone, but getting points now, 2 drives in a row, they've gotten points. That's key.
For the Grizzlies, with a field goal on each of their first 2 possessions, and they are with a 6-point lead. Dan Carpenter with a 42-yarder to put Montana up 6-0. There's a look at your MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive for news and statistics on all Grizzly athletics. Log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. Carpenter with a short kick taken at the 20 by Josh Lewis. Lewis out across the 30 before he's brought down, and that's where the Bobcats will take over to start their 2nd possession of the ball game.
It's a pretty good field position again here for the Bobcats, the same as on the last drive. you want to see, as you said, they need to answer here. They don't have the great field goal kicking that the Grizzlies have, so they've got to move the ball down and get it in the end zone. They can't afford to let this thing be a situation where the Grizzlies just slowly build this thing up 3 points at a time. They have got to answer, and this drive is absolutely important in doing so.
And there you saw Jack Rolovich, the transfer from Hawaii. Another senior here on senior day in Bozeman. Derek Green, the man in motion on first down. Rolovich with time. Hits Crawford out of the backfield. Crawford with a move. And forced out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
Well, I tell you right there, Mike, that shows the incredible talent that Crawford possesses. Kyle Ryan is a great linebacker. But watch once Crawford gets the ball here. This is just one-on-one football, man to man, and Crawford just puts a little juke on, makes him miss, and Kyle Ryan ends up having to chase the play down. Good athlete is Crawford.
Now we've got, you talked about having manageable distances on second and third down. They've got a good shot here. That they had this the last series, and then they get the penalty. So they've really got to capitalize on this thing and settle down and not make any mistakes to hurt themselves.
Here's Crawford on the toss, trying to find something over the left side, but going nowhere. Wrapped up by Lauren Utterback for a loss. That will bring up third down.
Fantastic play by the corner, number 34, Quentin Jackson. This is how you do it right here, Mike, from a defensive player standpoint. If you're a coach, you've got to get your corner to fly up the field and force this thing inside. You can see right there, Quentin's up the field hard, and no way Crawford's going to get outside of him. That allows the Montana defense to pursue and take good angles and make the play. Good job by Jackson.
3rd and 4 on the 3-yard loss. Rolovich forced out of the pocket. Unloads it downfield and has Josh Lewis. Lewis brought down inside the 30 by Colt Anderson, but the big gain on third down moves the sticks for Montana State into Grizzly territory.
Well, that's not how they drew this one up, but both Rolovich and Josh Lewis do a great job of improvising on the end of this. You can't see it from the shot, but Josh Lewis just stopped and started coming back to the ball, as good receivers are taught to do and will do when they see their quarterback flushed and in trouble. He came back and he really created something out of nothing there that sparked the Bobcats.
Sparked indeed. 1st and 10 from the Montana 28. Crawford the lone back. Rolovich to throw, has time. Looking over the top. And the pass is ruled incomplete. Flags down on the field, and we will check the penalty marker.
Well, I think what you're going to get here, guys, is Lewis went out of bounds. And if you go out of bounds, the rule is you cannot be the first guy to touch the football. So once Lewis goes out of bounds, he can't catch it. And I think that's what you're going to see. A referee threw a hat on the sideline, which means he spotted the receiver go out of bounds, and the flag comes in if he actually makes the catch. So
I think what the debate is about is whether he was forced out, and they had a little hand fighting going throughout this route. So it did appear to me that he had been actually pushed out of bounds. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, if you are pushed out, you can come back in and make that play. But we're going to find out.
It all depends on the referees and their communication, and these crews are so good. But yeah, illegal touching is the call, and that's what it means, is illegal touching. And I'm not sure, Mike, actually, I think even if you get forced out.
The receiver voluntarily stepped out of bounds and was the first offensive player to touch the ball. The penalty is loss of down at the spot of the last snap. 2nd down.
Okay, and that's a big one too, loss of down, so it's really just like a play for no gain. But Rolovich does a nice job once again of getting out of the pocket. We saw his arm strength on the last play. It has an incredible arm. I know there's some scouts, NFL scouts, that are looking at him because of the great arm strength that he possesses, and you see that he gets out of the pocket and just a little flick of the wrist and he can get that ball down the field.
Yeah, and that's, that allows him to make a lot of plays, because unfortunately for the Bobcats, he has been flushed quite a bit this season.
Nice grab by Lewis, goes for naught. 2nd and 10. Rolovich with a pump fake, looking for Crawford on the other side, and Crawford wasn't ready for the ball. It falls incomplete, and that brings up 3rd and 10.
Well, Tyler Joyce, number 6, great linebacker for the Grizzlies, makes a great read on the play. He's all over it. He senses it. He picks it up. He just forgets to look for the ball. Watch him there on the right side of your screen. You see he sees it, but he just doesn't really look for the ball. And if he's looking for the ball, he might have that still running down the sideline.
Yeah, you could almost see him when Crawford cut inside, he almost went with him. So he was clearly locked onto the receiver and not looking where the ball was going to come through.
Brings up 3rd and 10, 5 wide for Rolovich out of the shotgun. And Rolovich unloads it, and it's complete.
Well, this is a great throw and a catch here. You can see the coverage is good by the Grizzlies. I believe that was Colt Anderson that is right with him, but you can see Rolovich really steps back, sets his feet on this one, and really guns it in there, and it's just enough out in front of Josh Lewis to allow him to make that play. The ball is anywhere else, and that is an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that is a great throw and catch, and Colt Anderson just got a little bit too deep in his drop and had a chance maybe to make a better read on it, come up and really smack Tolliver, but what a great throw and catch right there. Bobcats are in business.
Here's Crawford on 1st down, up the middle, lots of room, met at the 5 and brought down by Colt Anderson, but a pickup of 5 on the play brings up 2nd and 5.
The Bobcats continue to run the ball very well. We're really seeing both offensive fronts doing a nice job of getting push up front and moving that line of scrimmage, which automatically, if you get movement up front, you're going to look at 3- and 4-yard gains. And now if you get a little hole in there, now you're looking at 6- to 8-yard gains, and that's what the Bobcats are doing.
Montana State on 2nd down from the 5. Here's Crawford again, up the middle, touchdown.
Well, we talked about the Bobcats needing an answer, and they certainly did it there. That was a very impressive drive. Mixed the run and the pass very effectively. Got the one big play over the middle, and have now got this thing back tied up. And it's been a little bit of adventure in a kicking game for the Bobcats this year, so it's by no means certain that they will go ahead with this PAT.
Well, and it was just a base guard around play, just a little guard from the backside leading up on the front side of the play, and the Bobcats just, again, dominated the line of scrimmage, moved it back about 4 yards, and an easy touchdown for Crawford. Montana State takes the lead.
Cats answer with a big drive when they need it. They lead by 1. Well, the Bobcats answer with a big drive when they needed it most.
Flip their kickoff team too.
Demetrius Crawford with his 4th rushing touchdown of the year. And there's a look at your MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive. For news and statistics on all Grizzly athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. Mark Mariani and Rob Schulte. Mariani with the return across the 20 to the 25. And let's send it down to Rob McPherson, roaming the sidelines for us this afternoon.
That's right, guys. You saw the run-pass combo on that last series. When Jack Rolovich is able to complete a couple passes, it opened up the run. And when you have a dangerous running back like Demetrius Crawford, you saw how dangerous they can be. He's talking with Coach Ash. He's going to be doing a lot of this whole game. Expect to see this run-pass combo. If they can do that, they might be able to rack up some points.
Well, thank you very much, Rob. Mark Mariani, the receiver for the Grizzlies, who had to step in place of Ryan Begley, who was injured last week at Idaho State, lost his shoe on the return and limped off the field, not putting any pressure on his foot. Here's Lex Hilliard on 1st down with a big hole.
Boy, the Grizzlies offensive line on the right side here just completely caved down the Bobcat defensive front, and there was a lot of room here for Lex to get cooking early.
Well, it looked like just their inside zone play, and that's how it's designed. Lex is going to press the line of scrimmage really hard, and if he sees the cutback, he's going to take it, and right there it was. And a great block on the perimeter, too, which really sprung him by Mike Ferder in the slot.
1st and 10 from the Montana State 38. Bergquist on the play action. Hit as he throws, but completes it to Tyler Palmer for 1st down yardage. And Bergquist took a lick as he let go of the ball.
Man, you are right. Bergquist takes a big shot, but he has proven all year long how tough he is. He will stand in the pocket and take those shots when he needs to. He'll also run the ball and be tough. He's just shown himself to be a tough competitor. And Bobby Daly, watch this, bam, right in the face. And this is what the Grizzlies need from their receiver core with Begley out. They need guys to step up and make plays. Tyler Palmer with a big catch right there.
Palmer, the sophomore out of Big Sky High School in Missoula. Flags before the play. This will be a false start on Montana.
Well, the first penalty on the Grizz. Montana State had one false start earlier, which stopped
to the
their
snap.
drive.
False start.
We'll see what happens
Number
here.
71 offense.
Montana going to back themselves
5-yard
up.
penalty.
First and 15. See if they'll
Remains
be able
first
to
down.
convert this, or if Montana State will take advantage of this mistake by Montana.
First and 15 after the penalty. Grizzlies with 4 wide and Bergquist out of the shotgun. Bobcats come on a blitz. Bergquist unloads it, intended for Eric Allen, nearly intercepted by David Taylor.
Boy, the Grizzlies, again, the Cats bring some heat up the middle here. They get the pressure. You can see here they are. Pressure comes in from the outside here. Jeff Taylor was on a blitz, and that ball just outside of the hands of that outstretched receiver. I think David Taylor was a little surprised to have that thing come up and hit him in the mouth.
Yeah, it hits him right in the face. Cole just a little bit off with his accuracy because of the pressure. That's the key. Anytime you get pressure in the quarterback's face, obviously you're going to cause the timing to be off, and you're going to cause the accuracy to be off. Montana State doing a nice job of getting pressure on Cole Bergquist.
Rob Schulte gets the handoff on 2nd and 15 and rumbles for nearly 10 yards.
Well, you know, Rob Schulte was a great, and I'm serious, a great running back for Great Falls High. Had a tremendous 3-year career up there for the Bison, and he was a running back. He caught the ball out of the backfield a little bit, but he was a fantastic running back. So this is something that he's used to, and you can see how he's going to find the hole, and then he's a tough runner. Built low to the ground. Look at him just keep his legs churning. That's how you teach finishing a run. Rob Schulte's showing his experience playing running back in high school.
Boy, and Stephen Failer came, he pulled out and led that thing up and just had a great block to really open up that hole for him.
Brings up 3rd and 4. Failer, the man in motion behind the line of scrimmage. Bergquist, the fade. Dropped it right in the breadbasket, but Ty Palmer can't reel it in. That brings up 4th down.
Well, I think the Grizzlies got exactly what they wanted here. The Cats were bringing the house, bringing everybody up the middle. They had man coverage on the outside, just quite couldn't get on the same page to complete that throw and catch.
Tyson Johnson, the senior from Stevensville here in Montana, on to punt for the Grizzlies. Josh Lewis, the deep man to receive.
Well, and thus far, Mike, Montana State is having success with their pressure package. I'm not sure if they really thought that they could, but obviously it's something that you're going to try out early in the game, and they are having success. So obviously it's something that Montana's going to have to deal with. Montana State's going to continue to bring the pressure all day.
Johnson angles his punt, takes a bounce at the 6, and will be downed inside the 5-yard line.
Well, again, a great special teams play in the kicking game for Montana. It has so far really been the highlight and the difference maker from their side of the football. They've had the 2 long field goals and now the great punt that really backs the Bobcat offense up.
Well, fellas, time now for our Don Adson Ford trivia here in the first half. And I bet you guys know the answer to this one. The 10-0 start this season is the best for the University of Montana since 2002. What team snapped that Grizz winning streak a couple years back?
Yeah, I remember that. That was a game that I called. It was in Eastern Washington. They had such a great roll going that year, but kind of ran into the injury bug and ran into a really good Eastern Washington team and lost at Eastern, and then came back home and actually lost to the Bobcats to finish with 2 straight losses that year.
And on first down, the Cats hand off to Isaiah Taito out of his own end zone.
Interesting call here down on the goal line to actually bring those guys in motion and then try and bring the ball back up the middle. Usually see the more of the quick hitters here to try and establish just a little bit more room to execute your offense down there.
And there's a look at the answer to our trivia. Nice work, Grady. So the clock continues to wind down. This might be the final play of the first quarter. 2nd and 10. Bobcats from deep in their own territory. Again, the handoff to Taito. And he's met by a host of Grizzlies at the 5. Again, no gain on the play, and with that, it appears the first quarter will expire. So the Bobcats will make the long walk to the other end of the field. We'll take a break as they do. But Montana State with a 7-6 lead at the end of the first.
Get ready for the second quarter as Grizzly Gridiron Classics continues.
The Bobcats with a 7-6 lead at the end of the first, but now with a 3rd and 7 from their own 6-yard line. And again, folks, remember, we will, coming up near the end of the game, present the Northwestern Energy players of the game. Long way to go before those are decided, though. Derek Green at the bottom of your screen. Rolovich to throw out of his own end zone. And has a man. That's Tyler Lulay.
It looks to me like they may get a measurement here, but I think they're going to be just a little bit short depending on how the spot goes. Yeah, they are spotting the ball. It'll be well short, probably about a yard, which is going to bring up 4th down for the Bobcats. They're going to have to try and punt this thing and keep the Grizzlies from having, excellent field position, as it looks like it will turn out to be.
Well, as has happened to Croy Bierman in several contests now, pretty much all year, Bobcats are doing a nice job of double teaming him almost every time, whether it's with the tight end and the tackle or sending a running back to help the tackle out. And Croy Bierman just keeps coming. We've seen games where he's been shut out almost the whole game, but he stays with it and finally gets something going in that 4th quarter.
Mark Mariani takes the punt at the 35-yard line, and some trickery. A reverse on the return goes nowhere.
We do have a flag, but I'm not really sure. It looked like the flag came out right when they made the exchange here when Mariani pitches the ball out.
I think they might call forward lateral. I think it might have potentially been forward. It looks like he threw it right when the toss, as you said, Mike, happened, so we'll see. Yep, for sure. It's definitely a forward lateral, which of course is illegal. So that'll back the Grizzlies up a little bit. And a nice punt.
Illegal forward pass. Number 47 of the receiving team.
Right.
5-yard penalty assessed from the spot of the pass.
Backed up. They've got
1st down, Montana.
Position, and now you can see they've got the chance to get the ball in with excellent shape on offense, but you get a great kick, you attack the penalty on the, maybe you try to outthink yourself a little bit on that and make the big play, and now you're down. It's going to be, I believe, near the 30-yard line when this drive starts. It's really a fortunate change of possession for the Bobcats.
The penalty will back the Grizzlies up to their own 32-yard line, where they will take over with a 1st and 10, Cole Bergquist. There you see his numbers so far this afternoon. And they hand off to Lex Hilliard, who's met in the backfield. Paul Barch.
Paul Barch, you can see come in here. The Bobcats have got some fresh legs on this defensive line for this series. You can see Barch is in there, Colonnade back in there. They didn't take too long to get themselves with a little mud on those uniforms, making a nice play. Really had that thing shut down the length of the offensive line.
Barch, a senior out of Huntington Beach, California, a sociology major. 2nd and 11. Bergquist has time and has his tight end, Stephen Failer, knocked out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line. Short of 1st down yardage, that will bring up 3rd.
Well, a nice play on 2nd down, and now here we are again in about 3rd and 4 territory, 3rd and 3, and Montana State has had great success on 3rd down. Their percentages of blitz are much higher on 3rd down anyways. They're a team that brings it more often on 3rd, and they've done it so far in this game, and it looks like they're lining up to bring the pressure again.
Yeah, again, they've switched to that 3-man front that we've seen on the big 3rd down throwing situations.
Bergquist looking for Rob Schulte and has it complete. Knocked out of bounds or brought down inbounds just short of the 45-yard line, but a pickup of 6 moves the chains for Montana.
Well, good quick throw that time with the pressure coming. Cole finds his quick outlet receiver, and so far you've seen Montana, the young receivers now that have to step up and play well, are doing a nice job. Palmer's made a catch, Schulte's playing well today, and Mariani has not come back in the game, I don't think.
Still no sign of Mark Mariani after he was helped off the field on the last kickoff return. Bergquist off the play action has Eric Allen across the middle of the field, and Eric Allen is popped by Kevin Retoriano. He can't hold on to the ball. What a hit.
Boy, yeah, you can see it. You know when you go over that middle that the chances are you are going to take a shot, and it's got to be a brave effort to hold on here. And you can see Bertoriano comes in, puts his shoulder right on the ball, and it comes out.
He had good sportsmanship, too. Look at the hit. Eric Allen pops right back up. A couple Bobcats kind of pat him on the back. That a baby. That's good sportsmanship. Good to see that.
2nd and 10. Bergquist takes it himself, picks up 2 before he's brought down. Bobby Daly with the tackle.
Again, you can see we talked about the Bobcats going to that 3-man front when they think that they've got a passing situation. Grizzlies try to adjust to it here and fake the give inside and get upfield for Bergquist, but Bobby Daly comes up here and finishes strong in the middle.
Brings up 3rd and 7.
Once again, Montana State lined up in that 3-man front. Linebackers crowding the line of scrimmage. You're getting man-to-man. Looks like pressure's going to come once again.
Bergquist flushed out of the pocket. Lots of room up the middle. Has the first down. Slides at the 36-yard line.
And that's the only problem, Mike, when you bring pressure and you're playing man-to-man, is if the quarterback gets loose, there's nobody to account for him. And if he gets through this pressure, you can see 6 guys coming on the blitz. Once Cole steps up, there's nobody left. Everybody else is man-to-man in coverage, and Cole's got a lot of room to run. Something Montana State, they've been successful with their blitzing scheme, but they've got to make sure they account for the quarterback.
And Montana State is going to take a timeout.
Looks like they were forced to take that one. They had a personnel mix-up, and that's unfortunate for them to burn one in that type of a situation.
As are we. We'll be right back from Bozeman. The Grizzlies trailing by 1 here in the 2nd quarter in Bozeman. 1st and 10 from the Montana State 37. Lex Hilliard. The stutter step, shedding tacklers and rumbles for 14 yards.
Wow, that is a signature run really by Lex Hilliard. You see everything that he possesses, the strength and power, the quickness, the ability to really escape. And for a big running back, I mean, look at this run. He's got good vision, makes the first guy miss, then look at the strength and power, then runs right through 2 tacklers, and then look at the finish right here, just taking guys down the field. Wow, that is Lex Hilliard to a T.
Brings up 1st and 10 now from the Bobcat 23. Hilliard again. This time gains about 5.
Well, and I tell you what, if they can continue to get 4 and 5 yards a crack, both teams, both offenses thus far in this game are having great success just moving the line of scrimmage and getting 4 and 5, 6 yards a crack. Both teams have to be very happy. You can see right here the double team on Brandon Hoffenbacher just moving that line of scrimmage down the field. You see Cody Baylock getting up on the middle backer Daly. Good blocking by Montana's offensive line.
Hilliard checks out of the game. Thomas Brooks Fletcher checks in at tailback. Bergquist from the shotgun on 2nd and 6. Reads the zone. Picks up a couple before Bobby Daly hops on him. 3rd down upcoming.
Well, Bobby Daly here just simply beats Colin Dow. Colin Dow is going to pull around and lead up. And as you watch the play here, you're going to fake it to Lex. Now watch, Colin Dow is going to lead around. Good kick-out block by Hillsland. Colin Dow right there. If he makes that block, big play. But Bobby Daly sheds the block. Again, one of the things that Coach Ash, in his praises for Bobby Daly, says he's so hard to block. He avoids blocks and sheds blocks, gets off of them very well.
3rd and 3. Bergquist looking for the end zone. Touchdown.
Boy, it looks like the back judge is coming in, and he is going to call that an incomplete pass. He was pretty emphatic as he sprinted across the field from the middle here. But you can see the Grizzlies get what they want here. They get the pressure coming. The Bobcats are bringing it. However, they get the man coverage on the outside.
Pass is ruled.
Just, boy, this is really close here, but you'll watch it in there.
Oh, good call.
Well,
good
yeah,
call.
that is a good call.
And, you know, that's refs working together, because from the back angle, the side judge there, he couldn't tell. That looks like a fantastic catch. He signals touchdown, but the back judge comes in with a better angle at it and waves it off. That's good work by the officiating crew.
Dan Carpenter on to attempt his third field goal of the game, and it is no good.
Well, Superman took a dose of kryptonite there, because you just don't see that happen very often. That's a very fortunate move, or event on the part of the Bobcats, because of the close play in the end zone, and then you give one back.
Montana State maintains their 1-point advantage on the missed field goal by Dan Carpenter, just his third missed field goal of the season.
Well, and I thought initially that the snap and the hold weren't really clean, but actually you see that it did get down pretty good, and Carpenter knew right away that he just pulled it to his left.
On 1st and 10, Rolovich looking down the sideline for Derek Green, but it sails out of bounds. 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, there's a situation where a little bit of turnabout here the Cats had. They found that man coverage, and they came out in that same I formation that they started the game with the tight end there, that they've generally used that to roll and do that lead block on the run, but that time wanted to get the one-on-one coverage and get one over the top. Unfortunately for the Bobcats, good coverage, and brings up 2nd down.
Here's Crawford working his way over the left side, picks up 2. Jace Palmer with the stop for Montana. 3rd and 8.
Well, and Jace Palmer's had a nice year, getting his chance more and more as the season has gone on to really emerge as a player. Opposite the great Croy Bierman, has made some nice plays, and you know, he's a guy that's going to get bigger and stronger in the weight room. Right now only weighs about 220, just a little bit over, and he's going to work hard, I know, in the offseason and try to get his weight up a little bit, but he's a good athlete and looking for big things from Palmer in the future.
3rd and 7 for the Bobcats. Rolovich swings it to Crawford, but he's hit by Quentin Jackson. No gain on the play. 4th down coming up.
Well, that's the 2nd time today that Jackson from his corner position has just made a great read. I mean, just knowing what's coming, seeing it, whether it's just studying film and studying the scouting report or just having football sense, and just a great play to understand what's coming and flying up and making a play. And now the Grizzlies are hoping that they can turn the field position tables a little bit.
And there is Mark Mariani back out on the field to return the punt for the Grizzlies. Fisher gets it off, end over end punt, takes a bounce at the 42, and Mariani's just going to walk away from it. Downed at the 36-yard line. Well, folks, let's take a look at a future star for the Montana Grizzlies as we profile Ryan Featherston. Ryan's a 6'4" defensive end from Helena who currently is redshirting for the Grizzlies. He was 1st-team All-State as a defensive end and 2nd-team All-State as a quarterback his senior year at Helena High. Head coach Bobby Houck says he would be seeing playing time this year if not for the Grizzlies' depth on their defensive line, and that's why Ryan Featherston is today's Banking on the Future featured athlete for the Montana Grizzlies, brought to you by First Interstate Bank. With banks across Montana and Wyoming, it's your home too. So 1st and 10 for Montana. Bergquist looking for Dan Bowden on the screen. Bowden reels it in, but brought down for a loss.
Well, we talked about it on the other end just moments ago, where the Grizzly defender almost knew what the play was coming, and that is just preparation and scouting. And here, Bryant Matthews had this one sniffed out from the beginning and was coming upfield hard. Didn't really give the Grizzlies any chance of breaking that thing open.
2nd and 10 for Montana. Bergquist out of the shotgun. The hand off to Lex Hilliard. Picks up about 4. The state championship games in the high school ranks being played across the state today. Quick update on the Class A state championship game. Dillon and Billings Central tied 7-7 in the 1st quarter.
Well, and speaking of that, congratulations once again to Coach Pat Murphy and the Helena Capital Bruins winning another AA state championship last night. A fantastic game. Also, congratulations to Coach Sulcer from Billings Senior. Just a fantastic game between two very well coached football teams.
Rob Schulte, the man in motion on 3rd and 6. Bergquist comes back and hits Eric Allen just good enough for first down yardage. That will move the sticks for Montana.
Well, and one of the things that a quarterback does, every quarterback has that guy that he knows is his go-to guy. When the chips are down and he needs a first down, he needs somebody to step up and make a big catch, he's going to look for a certain guy most of the time. And I'll tell you what, Ryan Begley has been that guy most of the time for Cole Bergquist. So I was really interested to see today with Ryan Begley out, who is going to become that guy for Cole Bergquist. And right now he's doing a nice job of really spreading the football around to several players.
Here's Lex Hilliard. Flags down in the area of holding. Hilliard picks up 5, but we'll check the penalty.
Well, you were right. Definitely going to be a holding call, which is a tough one to overcome. It moves you back 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. You're faced with a 1st and 20, and just
holding number 87 offense. 10-yard penalty to be assessed from the spot of the last snap. Repeat, first down.
Go ahead.
Well, you talk about penalties here, and really we've seen a pretty penalty-free game. I think we've only seen 4 now, but the ones that we've seen have made a big impact. In a tight ball game, that's what's going to happen. Those things just seem to mean a lot more when you've got a score like this.
1st and 20 after the penalty. Here's the screen to Rob Schulte. Brought down on a shoestring tackle by Kevin Rettoriano.
Well, and it's a good tackle by Rettoriano. He is a very good safety, flies up well in the alley from his safety position. You know, Schulte's the guy that Montana wants to get these bubble screens to, because he can really make something happen. And you see if Rettoriano doesn't make that block, boy, Schulte has a little crease there and has a chance to get some good yardage. So nice play by Rettoriano.
Brings up a 2nd and 12. And Mark Mariani has checked back in at receiver. He's at the bottom of your screen. Bergquist wrapped up and brought down. Michael Beach, the senior cornerback from San Pedro, California, with his first sack of the season.
Well, this is, you can see, this is the second time that they've tried this. The corner blitz from this side of the field. You'll see Beach come in here. The last time, the Grizzlies had read it perfectly and threw the out on the other side of the field where they were undermanned. But this time, the coverage was there and Beach is able to finish it out.
Brings up 3rd and 22 after the sack. Bergquist intended for Schulte, and it falls incomplete. 4th down coming up.
Oh, and Michael Beach having a great series right there. He was all over that screen. In fact, if Bergquist leads him where the ball normally would have been, Beach might have picked it and taken it back as he did last week. Just been a big play guy for the Bobcats. You see, he's all over that play. Michael Beach coming up big for Montana State. And I tell you what, right now the Bobcats are feeling good about themselves. They've really got it going on both sides of the ball.
Tyson Johnson on to punt for Montana. Josh Lewis, the senior from Pittsburgh, California, backing up, takes the punt inside his own 10. Trying to get the corner, but wrapped up and brought down by Dan Bowden. And with that, we will take a break. Bobcats still with a 1-point lead in the second. And there you see a fresh dusting of snow on the top of the Bridgers here in Bozeman. But really, fellas, a relatively mild day as far as weather goes for Cat Grizz and Bozeman.
You know, it rained early in warm-ups, and we thought it might get a little bit messy. But, yeah, right now it is a beautiful day, and Montana State continues to play well. Crawford is loose up the left sideline.
And that is Demetrius Crawford, the big gain, brought down at the 45-yard line, chased down from behind by Lauren Utterback.
Boy, give Rolovich some credit here. I really think they run the play action here, but they were looking upfield initially to try and get the ball deep, but gets to the check down, gets back to the backside, and Crawford makes a nice play, keeping his feet, getting upfield, and getting some exceptional yardage for the Bobcats.
And they do try and get him the ball. Starting tailback also is the team's leading receiver. 1st and 10 from the 43. Here's Crawford again. This time brought down in the backfield by Van Cooper and Lauren Utterback.
Great safety play by Van Cooper. We're used to calling Colt Anderson's name most of the time, but right now Van Cooper in the game, getting his chance to play, and the senior comes up and makes a big play. Watch this, you can see him right here. Good job on that. He's going to take his read steps. He reads run. He comes flying up in the alley just where he's supposed to be, and a great tackle. Gets around the legs and ties him up. Tackle for a loss by a safety. Good play.
Van Cooper, one of 22 seniors for the Montana Grizzlies this year. 2nd and 11. The play action to Crawford. Rolovich has time and has a man wide open. Caught and brought down just short of the end zone is Deon Tolliver.
Well, this is not what the Grizzlies wanted to close out this half. They were in striking range. Now Bobcats have a chance to really get a momentum changer as we finish out this second half. But you can see good play fake here. Grizzlies actually had a few guys open on this, but really it was just a ton of time to throw the ball, and with that comes a lot of cover times for those corners, and it just didn't happen here.
And that, folks, is our momentum-changing play of the half. A proud past becomes a strong future. JTL group is now Knife River. Bobcats with a 1st and goal from the 2. The handoff to Taito.
Nothing doing up the middle there. He gets a little of it. You can see Taito, obviously the bigger back for the Bobcats. They bring him in here. Got a little more beef than Crawford. They're going to try and get his 206 pounds out here, but just a good play by the Grizzly defense. They were solid across the front, able to shed their blocks and make the big stop.
Yeah, Jackson once again, who's had a nice game for Montana, and Tyler Joyce, the outside linebacker, come up to shut it down. But Montana State playing well offensively and in striking distance once again.
2nd and goal for the Bobcats. Rolovich rolling out, looking for the end zone. And it's thrown out of bounds, incomplete, so 3rd down coming up. Also, folks, coming up on the bookstore of the University of Montana halftime show, Rob McPherson. We'll talk with the presidents from both universities, plus we'll announce the D.A. Davidson Scholar athletes from the 2 schools, plus take a look at the first half highlights and statistics, all coming up on the halftime show, brought to you by the University of Montana Bookstore, your logo wear source since 1921. 3rd and goal for the Bobcats from the 1.
Well, and I would guess it's 4-down territory. I'm sure Coach Ash is going to get 6 here. There's no way he's kicking a field goal. Even if Montana State doesn't get it right here, I'm sure he's got 2 plays in mind.
Crawford. And they say it's a touchdown. Forward progress got him into the end zone.
Boy, just when I talked about the Cats wanting to have Taito in there to bring a little extra beef, they do come back with Crawford on the big 3rd down, and he is able to just get it in. This was extremely close. We'll see it on the replay here. Just a straight give to the left side.
Boy, and it's where the ball gets, and we're not going to have the angle that we're going to need to really determine whether he got in or not, but the fact is the line judge said that he got in, so he definitely saw the ball cross, and that's all you can go by. It's a very close play, of course, but it doesn't matter. It's Montana State 14 and Montana 6.
Here's another look at the touchdown run. Crawford's 2nd of the day.
Well, that's a little bit better angle, but because of, there's just no way to really tell. But again, all you can do is trust the line judge down there, saw the ball cross. That's all that matters. And it's a touchdown. I guarantee you, though, Coach Ash, if that wouldn't have got in, 4th and inches, he's going for it. He has nothing to lose in this game. You're not settling for a field goal, which has been a question mark all year for Montana State. So you're going to get it in the end zone. And nice job by Montana State. I tell you, they've protected very well. The offensive line has done a great job. Nobody's really gotten pressure on Rolovich all day, and he is showing off his arm strength. I mean, he just flips the ball downfield so easily. When he gets time, Montana's got to stay in coverage. And that big play down the field to Tolliver, they lost their guys a little bit, and just Jack Rolovich is coming up big for the Bobcats thus far today.
Well, and I think that it comes down to the one thing that you said. He has had time. There has not been the pressure. Even when they've had a little bit of pressure, he's been able to roll out and buy more time, and really that just puts so much pressure on those defensive backs to cover for that long. Like you say, Jack Rolovich has got a gun, and if you give him that much time, he's going to go make a play.
There was your MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive. For news and statistics on all Grizzly athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. So the Bobcats with a 14-6 lead, kicking off, and Rob Schulte takes it across the 20. Brought down at the 25-yard line.
Good coverage by Montana State's kickoff team. That's a situation where Montana's trying to go to the right with their return. It's a right return call, but the ball is kicked way to the left side of the field, and it's hard. The returner has to make a decision whether to just get straight up the field and get what he can, or try to get all the way over to the return side. And a lot of times it's just tough to cross the field with so much speed coming at you, and Montana State's speed wins on that play.
Well, and give some credit. You can see, you can't really see it on our screen, but the Bobcats kickoff team has been doing a great job with their directional kicking today. They're actually flopping the sides of your line, and they're putting Bobby Daly to the side that they're trying to kick the ball to, and he has been a bear in coverage. We'll see, though, we're gonna have to kick this one again. Bobcats, I believe, were offsides on that kickoff.
Yeah, they're going to back it up, and the leg is not very strong. So Montana should end up with good field position, and still 2.5 minutes to go. So Coach Fennessy and the offense definitely want to get something going here, at least get a field goal, but try to get some points with 2.5 minutes to go, which is going to be a tough task. Montana State's defense is playing very well.
So Eric Fisher tees it up one more time.
And you can see here they have again flopped. We've got Bobby Daly and his side, Will Claggett. Some other Bobcat defenders are now on the top side of your screen, where the last time we lined up we're down here on the right.
And again, a relatively short kick taken just inside the 15, this time by Mark Mariani. And Mariani outside across the 35 where he stopped. And that's where the Grizzlies will take over. We have another score update from the Class A state championship football game here in Montana. Billings Central has scored again. They lead at 14-7 with 6:30 to play in the second quarter.
Well, and the job that Terry Thomas has done at Dillon, just building a dynasty down there, just unbelievable to get back to the championship game time and time again. But Billings Central has an outstanding team this year, and it's going to be a tough task, I think, for Coach Thomas to upset the Rams today.
Grizzlies take over. 2.5 minutes to go before the half. They trail by 8 points. Here's Mike Ferreter. Stutter step at the 45, forced out of bounds at the 48.
Well, this is what really makes this play happen. You've got on this lower side of your screen, you'll see linebacker number 34, Price. He really bites on this run fake and comes up into coverage, and then once he realizes it is play action, he just can't get back into coverage in time to stop that throw.
Well, this is one of the things that I thought we'd actually see more today from the Grizzlies offensively. Montana State's a fast flow defense. They really run to the ball well, and I thought we'd see a little bit more misdirection stuff, some play fakes, and some rollouts, bootlegs just like that. Montana hasn't used it too much today yet.
Bergquist to throw, has an eternity, and has Mark Mariani across midfield, wrapped up by about half the Bobcat defense. I don't know if he was ever actually brought down, but tackled in the stat book nonetheless. That will move the chains for Montana.
Well, and Montana doing just what they needed to do. Two nice plays and 30+ yards gained immediately, and still over 2 minutes to go in the half. The safety's sitting real deep. That play, they were back 25 yards, so Mariani just sits down right in the middle of the field, and Bergquist finds him.
1st and 10 from the Montana State 33. Montana with 4 wide, Lex Hilliard in the backfield, Cole Bergquist out of the shotgun. Hilliard picks up the blitz. Bergquist has Allen inside the 20, spinning off tacklers, finally brought down by David Taylor at the 10-yard line.
Well, now you got to be aggressive if you're Montana. You got to get this thing in the end zone. You're on the 10, just outside the 10, not quite 1st and goal, but you got to be thinking 6, and then I think you got to have a 2-point play ready to go. You're down by 8. Why not get some things aggressively figured out here and planned with 1:51 left in the half? But Montana State again brought the blitz, and this time the Grizzlies pick it up a little bit better. And again, Eric Allen does a great job once he makes the catch of getting upfield, and it looks like Eric Allen is down.
That is Allen shaken up on the play.
Looks like he's okay, which is good news for Montana. They cannot afford another injury to their receiving core.
Boy, we've talked about Lex running the ball today, but there he gets a nice chip, just enough on the backer coming upfield to really allow that play to happen.
Again, a nice job by Eric Allen. You've seen two Montana receivers today. Schulte did earlier in the game, but making the catch and then directly making a cut and getting up the field. Don't run side to side, but get that dang ball north and south as fast as you can.
So 1st and 10 from the Bobcat 11. Montana in the I formation. And here's Lex Hilliard picking up 4.
Just some football here. You see a big load coming up field and those backers going at it. Nothing fancy about this. You just watch a couple Rams butt heads at the end of this thing. Lex obviously brings a big load, and you can see they're just, those backers are just coming up and giving it all they have, and that time lucky enough to get down on Lex's legs and bring him down.
Guess who? Bobby Daly in on the stop for the Bobcats. 2nd and 6. Hilliard again. Stutter step at the line of scrimmage. Met and brought down at the 1-yard line. And that's very near first down yardage. The Grizzlies still could pick up a first down if they got to the 1.
Exactly, and that's the benefit of being just outside the 10-yard line and not having a first and goal, a true first and goal. But boy, you're going to get maybe 5 cracks at it from this. It's going to be close. It looks like we're going to have a measurement, but Montana's going to get 5 cracks, and it's still going to be 3rd and short.
And here comes the chain gang. And it does, from way up here, appear to be just short of the first down.
I agree, Phil. I think we're going to be about 4 or 5 inches. Yeah, a little bit more, about a football length to get the first down. But again, it's only 3rd down. So I'm sure Coach Houck is thinking 4-down territory for sure, which means you'd go for it on 3rd and 4th down or give it 2 cracks and then a chance to get the first if you don't get it in. Offensive line has played well for Montana all day and has really moved the line of scrimmage. So you would think with that offensive line and the chance to give the ball to Lex Hilliard, you would think that the chances of getting this thing in the end zone are pretty good.
Absolutely. With that many shots at it, with a running back like Lex Hilliard, who's proved himself time and time again over the years, I think you've got to like your chances down here if you're a Grizzly.
And the Grizzlies are going to take a timeout. They didn't like what they saw and are going to talk this over.
Well, that's frustrating from an offensive standpoint. You know, as a head coach, you get time to get your things together because you've got the measurement. So plenty of time to organize your package, your personnel, get your play. And then even after the measurement and all that time, you have to take a timeout. So definite frustration right there on the offensive side of the ball, not getting things together. But again, Mike, Montana State has played well, and this is a real chance for them to step up and, you know, flex their muscles and show just how badly they want to win this game. This is where, you know, the thing you love about the game of football is this is when all the stuff that you teach and you talk about, you know, the character and the toughness, the mental toughness, and just everything you can talk about comes right here. You're on the goal line. This is where on the 1-yard line you find more out about athletes and about people and anywhere else, I think, really in society almost.
Boy, I couldn't agree more, because this just comes down to, we talk about it with our little kids in our little Grizzly program. Hey, this is, you got to smell it, you got to want it down here. If you're on offense, you've worked your way, you've 99 yards behind you and 1 to go, you got to want to get in there. And the same is true on the defensive side, that you've got to protect your flag here and keep these guys out of your end zone.
3rd and 1. Lex Hilliard, touchdown.
Well, I know it's early in the game, but now you wonder if Montana's going to go for 2. Not necessarily that you have to. You could easily kick it. It's 14-13, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. Sometimes coaches they'll worry about that scoreboard too early, and they'll go for 2. And if you don't get it, it puts you kind of behind the 8 ball as the game goes along. So I think a good decision. Kick it down 14-13 at half. Although with Rolovich and the way he's been playing, 42 seconds, well, you never know. Montana State could still strike here at the end of the first half.
Dan Carpenter on to attempt the extra point. Carpenter's kick is up and good. And with that touchdown, Lex Hilliard becomes the all-time touchdown career leader at the University of Montana. He surpasses Johann C. Humphrey, the great running back of the early part of the decade. Hilliard now with 49 career touchdowns. Congratulations to Lex.
Yeah, congratulations, Lex. We've been able to track that all year. It's been fun game by game, just watching him get closer to the record, then tie it. And now he's finally got it, the sole leader, all-time touchdown leader at Montana. Just a fantastic career, and couldn't happen to a better young man, Lex Hilliard.
Well, you touched on it right before they kicked that PAT for the Grizzlies there. Be interesting to see what the Cats do here. I'm sure a lot of it will depend on just what they can make out of this kickoff return. I would think if they do get some decent field position, they are going to go out and try and take some shots down the field. They've had some luck getting the ball deep to Tolliver today, and I would look for that to happen. Flip side of the coin is you get poor return here, then you may get more conservative and just try to run this thing out.
Right, and I think that's what you do, Mike. You, as a coach, you kind of just see what happens. First of all with field position, and then maybe you run a play or two early on in the drive, and if you get something going, man, you get after it. You go into your 2-minute O. So much can happen, especially with Rolovich's arm. So much can happen in just 41 seconds. And Montana's just going to do that little pooch kick, so Montana State's going to end up with nice field position about the 33-yard line.
That they will. So the Bobcats take over with decent field position. Just under 40 seconds to play in the half. Both teams still with a couple timeouts here in the first half. A quick score update from the Montana Football 6-man championship. Augusta and Hysham all knighted up, 14 apiece in that one.
Yeah, interesting that we had the article in the Missoulian this week with Joe Bignell and talking about all the Bignells around the state that are involved in state championships today. That's just a phenomenal thing. And if I'll tell you, I had the pleasure of playing with Joe, and if there's a nicer guy out there, I haven't met him yet.
Rolovich, the shovel pass to Crawford. Picks up a couple before he's brought down by Colt Anderson.
That was a nice looking play, actually a good play call. Coach Ash and his staff, I really like the call on first down. It's a conservative play, a chance to maybe break something and get, kind of a cheap 10-15 yards. But Colt Anderson, as he does so well, reads it and comes up and just makes a nice tackle. Actually, that's Lauren Utterback. Lauren Utterback with a nice play. Inside out tackle, wraps up Crawford and brings him down.
And with that, Rob Ash will stop the clock, burning another one of his timeouts. He still has one remaining in the half.
Well, Mike, a chance here to talk quickly about, we talked about Bobby Daly and Croy Bierman, and how exciting is it to highlight two kids that are from the state of Montana. You and I are both from the state of Montana, and the chance to play for the Grizz and the Cats. And, you see these guys, there's so many Montana players on these two rosters. I mean, the makeup of both of these squads is Montana kids. And the guys that are really standing out, the leaders on these teams, are Montana kids. And it's just an awesome thing to see. It makes me so proud. Bobby Daly was a guy that when we coached against him from Helena Capital, you had to account for him every play. He was just so dominant. He was a great player, and yet he kind of got overlooked. And I'm just so proud of him to see him come to Montana State and just have the incredible career that he's having. And there's so many examples like that on the field today for both sides.
Absolutely, and it's not just that they do it, but the way that they do it. Two kids that really sell out on every snap.
Crawford again gets the ball, this time ridden out of bounds. And that will stop the clock. It's short of the first down marker. Again, folks, coming up near the end of the game, we'll present the Northwestern Energy players of the game. Crawford has to be in that conversation early with 2 touchdowns so far in the first half. Yeah, 23 seconds.
Rolovich has also played very well. There's been, and that's what it's about. This has been a great first half. It's been well played, mistake-free for the most part, error-free. It hasn't been very many penalties, as you mentioned, Mike, and both sides just playing hard, executing well, and battling out there to get a win.
3rd and 5. Rolovich dumps it off for Crawford, who loses his footing.
Well, now Coach Houck is going to play the time game a little bit, and he says, what the heck, we'll give it a shot on our side. Interesting call. Coach Ash was pretty conservative there and decided kind of just to head into the halftime. It looks like up 14-13. But again, did just what we said. Try a couple plays that you might get something going. If not, okay, that's fine. We'll go into the half, we're leading. But Bobby Houck now with 18 seconds. The thing about this decision, I think, is the punt game for Montana State's a little bit erratic. And you got a guy back there, Mark Mariani, who's done some exciting things with the football. And you give yourself a chance maybe to get a big return.
Right, I think it's an excellent call and a very heads-up call on the part of Coach Houck to make them punt the ball. It hasn't, like as you alluded to, that always hasn't gone smoothly for the Bobcats this year. Against NAU, really, they give up 2 block punts in a row, cost them the game. So to make them forced to at least make the play, then you can, again, as we talked about before, depending on your field position, you can make your choices from that point. But this is a different punt team today than we have seen throughout the year. You got Bobby Daly and several other starters out there they are not going to take any chances in the special teams today. They're going to put their best players on the field at all times.
Well, Rob Schulte back to receive the punt, standing at his own 22-yard line. And nearly blocked.
Way to communicate.
End over end punt and a late flag. Could be running into the kicker. Schulte across the 25, but we will check in on the penalty.
And you know what, though, it's not a bad decision necessarily by Coach Houck with the problems that Montana State has had. Why not go after it? You know, take a shot at trying to block it, and it was close. You see Palmer lays out, almost gets it. And that is kind of a tough call right there. I think they just called running into the kicker.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. It definitely wasn't roughing. We'll see what the referee decides. It's all up to him. But again, a good decision by Houck.
Running in.
Yeah, just running in, which still is going to be.
Running into the kicker, number 56 defense. 5-yard penalty to be assessed from the spot of the last snap. Line to gain. First down, Montana State.
So he gave him the first down without even the measurement. It was close. It was sitting right there at about 4th and 5, but 7 seconds to go. Again, not really a big risk by Coach Houck. Come after it. If you get it, what the heck, you can turn around and kick a field goal. You don't get it, not a big deal. But again, with Rolovich's arm, now you're looking at maybe just one shot to get to the end zone and let one of your guys make a play.
Absolutely. Now you look back at the timeout and go, well, geez, maybe we'd like to have changed that, let this thing run out, be in the locker room down 1. Clearly going to give the Cats one more shot to go after it. Looks like they've got 3 receivers up on top. Likely look at the some Hail Mary type play here.
Well, the Grizz are surprisingly even in their base D. They're in their 43. All 3 linebackers are in.
And Rolovich chucks it out of bounds. And the clock expires. So the teams head into the locker room in a tight one. Montana State with a 14-13 lead at the half in Bozeman. This is a battle that's been going on for over 100 years, folks, and we've got another 30 minutes to enjoy coming up here in the second half.
Oh, and it was a great first half. Again, well played, just great players out there. They're giving it their all, and you see that every year in this matchup. The last 5-6 games have been just absolute battles, and it was a fantastic first half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I think just a solid football game. You know, we didn't see a lot of mistakes, haven't seen a lot of big plays, a catch with just a couple more than the Grizzlies, and that's the difference right now.
Let's take it down to Amanda Maynard, who's caught up with Coach Bobby Houck.
Coach, you guys score with less than a minute left in the half. What kind of momentum is that giving you going into the locker room right now?
Well, it gives us some momentum. We've got a lot of it in general. We're moving the ball really well. We've been up and down the field. Haven't capitalized in the red zone until there. The missed field goal hurt us, but we're playing pretty well, and I'm confident we'll play well in the second half.
Now, you guys, this is still a close game. What is going to make the difference for your team in the second half? What do you guys have to do to pull out a win?
Well, our offense is really moving the ball. We're going up and down the field. We got a bunch of yards. I don't know what that total is. The key is for our defense to handle the bootleg, which is the only play that's hurt us so far, and then get off the field with our defense, and we'll be fine.
Right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Thank you, Amanda. And we're going to take a break. There you see the scenic beauty of the Gallatin Valley, where the Montana State Bobcats have a 1-point advantage over the 3rd-ranked Montana Grizzlies. Stick around. Halftime show coming up next.
The second half of Grizzly Gridiron Classics starts now.
Here with Coach Ash. Coach, real fast, talk about that running game, how important it is to establish out here in the second half and keep that up.
Well, we've got to do that. You know, it's very important for our guys. I thought we came off the ball pretty well. If we get going lateral, we don't do very well. We got to get a vertical push and try to get off the ball quickly and see if we can get a little bit of push.
On the defensive side, you guys were very stingy until that last drive. How important is it to get back to that kind of stingy?
Montana's good on offense. They're really strong. You know, they're running well. Hilliard's running well. He's a big-time player, and we just have to tackle better. You know, if we can get that done, I think we'll be okay.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Phil, back up to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Rob. You hear Coach Ash talking about the running of Lex Hilliard. Hilliard, the senior from Kalispell, 15 carries for 88 yards and 1 touchdown there in the first half.
Well, and I know Lex Hilliard yet in his career to win here in Bozeman. And as a senior, there's a group of seniors that are outstanding for Montana that have not yet won here in Bozeman. So big goal for them. And there you see, unfortunately, one of those seniors that cannot be a part of this on the field today anyways is Ryan Begley. You see him right there. Unfortunate injury last week after a big catch, big play made by him, and just kind of takes a fall, puts his arm down, and ends his career for Montana. It ends up being a great career that he had, and just a shame that he can't go on into the playoffs with them.
Well, Montana got the ball to start the game, so Montana State will get the ball to start the second half. Guys, what will be the keys to the second half for both these teams?
Well, I think we touched on it as well as Coach asked. The Bobcats have got to establish something running the ball. Otherwise, I think you're going to see that's going to solve that pressure problem for the Grizzlies, because they're going to be able to pin their ears back and really bring the heat.
Quick update on the Montana six-man football state championship. Hysham up 26-20 over Augusta at the half. 27-20 over Augusta at the half. And we're underway in the second half from Bozeman. A pooch kick from Dan Carpenter, taken by, I believe, Jesse Anderson. And the Bobcats will start out with the ball on their own 30-yard line.
Well, Mike, you talked about how Montana State's kickoff return has just been kind of waiting to just bust out and have some big, huge plays. And obviously Bobby Hauck's very aware of that. All day long, his strategy has simply been, I'm not kicking it down there deep. I'm just going to pooch it up and give you a really good field position at the 30. And definite respect there for Montana State's return team.
Shows a couple things. You respect that return team, and you also really respect your defense.
That's a good point. Coach Hauck does believe in his guys, and he made a comment, as he always does. This has been a second half team really all year, Phil. They've played well in the second halves of games, just really had good second halves, and they started out in a big way.
Colt Anderson with an interception for the Grizzlies, his third pick of the year, and a big one to start the second half. Montana will take over in Bobcat territory.
Well, and I looked at the end of the play, and I don't know if you'll see it on the replay here or not, but Jack Rolovich, I guess not. No pressure whatsoever. It must have been after the interception. But, you know, he just must not see Colt Anderson come underneath from his safety position and come underneath that route, because he has the guy wide open on the out, but he just really throws it right to Colt Anderson. So a good job of rolling underneath by a safety who's not threatened by anybody in his zone and can come underneath the single receiver on the backside.
First turnover of the game. It comes on the first play of the second half. And on the Grizzlies' first play, it's Cole Bergquist to Mike Ferreter for 8 yards. Excuse me, Eric Allen.
That's a strike, too, right there. Cole Bergquist gets his feet set. You know, one of the things I've really watched in his development this year has been his accuracy. He has become a more accurate passer. You watch right here. He'll set his feet. Once he gets his feet underneath him, just really accurate with the ball and just throws a strike right to Eric Allen in stride.
Well, I think that's a matchup that we'll see the Grizzlies continue to work on. It's really got a large height disparity with David Taylor at 5'8" and Eric Allen at 6'3".
Inside zone play right there. Montana runs it so well. Lex Hilliard again, he's going to push the line of scrimmage, press it really hard, which means he just wants to get right up to those offensive linemen as much as possible and get the linebackers to commit up into their holes. And then if somebody fills the hole, he's going to look to cut it back. He cuts it back right there and picks up an additional few yards.
First and 10 from the Bobcat 27. Flags before the play. It appears to be a false start on Montana.
Well, that's unfortunate for Montana because
prior to the snap, false start. Number 77 offense, 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Only one time in the first half Montana really was able to run some misdirection and run a little bootleg, and it was a wide open, good looking play. Again, taking advantage of Montana State's aggressiveness on defense. They're a fast flow defense. They get to the ball, and this looked like it was going to be a big play. Unfortunately for the Grizz, movement up front, and they've got to start 1st and 15 now.
From the 32. Again, Grizzlies taking over in good field position after the Colt Anderson interception. Bergquist, quick drop, has time, and sacked.
Well, a big play there, but really not a bad job so much on the part of the Grizzly line. Had time, protected him pretty well against. They did come with a 4-man front. They bring the linebacker up top here, you see, but hey, that pocket holds together pretty well. Just coverage downfield is really what this boiled down to.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole Bergquist had nowhere to go with the football. You can't blame the offensive line for Montana at all. That's just great coverage by Montana State's secondary.
Jeff Price, the sophomore linebacker from Billings Skyview High School, with his first sack of the season. Brings up 2nd and 17. Bergquist gonna run it. Has a block and hit at the 30. Let's send it down to the sidelines for Amanda Maynard.
You know, Coach Howe talked about coming in out of the locker room with lots of momentum. They went in with a lot of it. How about Colt Anderson with that interception, coming in to pump up the second half? Local boy, and he's making a big play on the biggest stage here. Back to you, Phil.
Anderson's, as we mentioned, 3rd interception of the season to give the Grizzlies good field position, but Montana with now a 3rd and 12.
Well, Montana State once again in that 30 front and bringing the pressure.
And he has Eric Allen underneath, and Allen is going to cruise into the end zone. Touchdown.
Well, Mike, so often as a defensive coordinator, when you bring pressure, it's kind of do or die. It's feast or famine. You either get home and make a big play, get a sack, get some pressure, or you potentially give up some big plays. And Montana now obviously has made some adjustments on the 3-man front. You can see right here, 3-man front again. Montana State bringing the pressure, but what a great job by Montana, picking up the twist, picking up the stunt. And I tell you, Kevin Vittoriano right here just kind of gives in a little bit too easily. Eric Allen just cruises into the end zone.
Dan Carpenter's extra point up and good. So Montana retakes the lead 20-14 after coming up with a big touchdown after the Colt Anderson interception.
Well, and you could sense it. You could sense it in Coach Houck's halftime interview. And I know working so many games this year with you, Phil, we've seen time and time again where Montana at halftime is maybe down 3 or in a tight game or maybe only up by a touchdown, but it's kind of a tight first half. But he knows that in the second half, he just believes that his team is going to play better in the second half and be stronger. And he trusts that offensive line in the running game down the stretch. He trusts Lex Hilliard getting stronger as the game goes on, and you just sense that he felt good. Well, what a start for him in the second half to get an interception on the first play and then have his offense score off it. That's the key, is when you get those plays, you've got to take advantage. If they would have, only kicked a field goal there or not gotten anything, it really ends up being a victory for Montana State. So a great job, and what a great start to the second half for the Grizz.
Conversely, we need to really see what are the Bobcats going to do. They've had success the same way you're talking about, making second half adjustments, and have really been a lot more effective in the second half almost each and every game this season. Now, though, you've got an emotional game that you seem like pretty much had control of. Things have turned not because so much of what the other team did to you, but you did something to yourself. They're coming out there and giving them that opportunity with the early turnover. We've got to see what kind of character the Bobcats will show here in trying to bounce back from that quick score by the Grizzlies.
Well, there you saw the MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive. For news and statistics on all Grizzly athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. Eric Allen, a 29-yard touchdown catch to give the Grizzlies the lead, his 6th touchdown of the season. Carpenter's kick taken out of the end zone by Lewis, and Lewis out across the 20, brought down at about the 28-yard line.
Well, that time Montana decides to kick it deep. Lewis starts about 1 yard deep in the end zone, brings it out, and ends up just about in the same field position for Montana State. But you have to think, Mike, overall today, Montana State has had the better field position. They've done a nice job of winning that battle and have really enjoyed good field position most of the afternoon.
They have, with the exception of the one time where the Grizzlies had the great punt and pinned them back on their own 2-yard line. They've really started in a pretty comfortable position that allows you to have that option of going up the field.
So the Bobcats will take over right about the spot where they did to start the second half, and where Jack Rolovich threw an interception on their first play from scrimmage. The hand to Crawford, and Crawford with a big hole up the middle. Picks up 13 before he's wrapped up by Colt Anderson. That will move the chains for Montana State. We've got a couple other score updates from some of the other state championship games going on around the state of Montana. In the high school ranks, Class A state championship game, Billings Central now up 21-7 over Dillon. They're in the third quarter. And at the half, in the other Class C championship game, Drummond all over Sheridan, 34-8 again there at the half.
Well, Drummond is just an absolute juggernaut year in and year out. They just dominate people, and Oh, man, a good hit right there by Montana, ganging up on the run. You know, it seemed like Montana State had a nice first half rushing the ball, and yet kind of deceptive. You look at the halftime stats, only 12 rushes for 33 yards. Coach Ash knows, though, that he has to really establish that run here in the second half, as he talked about and as you've talked about all game, Mike. And the first run there of that series was really good, but that time Montana gangs up on it.
Right, they went back to really that not our last play that we're showing here, but the previous play that they came out was the same formation and set that they went to for the very first play of the game, and they had about the same amount of success with it. They got Crawford up the field going in a straight line, which is what Coach Ash talked about at halftime, but they've got to get him going vertically up the field.
And on 2nd and 10, Josh Lewis is drilled.
And I tell you what, Quentin Jackson is just enjoying a fine football game. He's just simply making good reads. He's recognizing what the offense is trying to throw at him, and he's just being aggressive and jumping plays. And man, right here again, it's just a quick little flat route, and he comes up from his corner position and just sticks it. Nice job, Jackson, all day long. Had a wonderful game so far.
And well, Grady, you've called more plays than certainly anybody in this booth, but when you've got a guy that's attacking upfield that aggressively, do you look to go over the top of him now?
Absolutely. You see a guy being aggressive like that, you got to have a couple things in your playbook you would expect now to take advantage of that. Give him the same look and then try to go up the field. And for the first time, Montana's going to get home and get a sack. First time today, finally getting some pressure, and it's going to end up being just a short sack, only about a yard loss. But finally, Montana's able to get home with their pressure.
That's Mike Stadnik and Craig Mettler in on the pressure for Montana. Stadnik got there first. Mettler helped finish him off. And with that, out comes the punt team for the Bobcats. Rob Schulte deep to return. End over end kick, and Schulte's going to let it take a bounce. Bobcats down it at the Montana 11. That's where the Grizzlies will take over when we come back. Montana enjoying a 6-point advantage. Early goings in the third quarter from Bozeman. The Grizzlies come out and score after a turnover to start the second half. They're up 20-14 as they take over from their own 12-yard line. Lex Hilliard, the deep back. And this is Hilliard. Stutter step at the line of scrimmage, and dragged down by Will Cleggett. Not after a gain of about 5.
Well, I think one of the things that Montana's offensive line is doing really well is getting their double teams established on the line of scrimmage. You know, Mike, the key is double teaming the defensive linemen and making sure you get movement there first before you work up to the linebackers. And it really looks like Montana's offensive line has done a nice job of double teaming down and getting movement so they can then get those easy 4 or 5 yards.
Bergquist to throw on 2nd down, and has Mark Mariani complete across the 20 out to about the 26-yard line. Good enough for a first down.
Well, and what's got to be frustrating, Mike, from a defensive standpoint now is you've tried to pressure Cole Bergquist. He's hung in there. You had some success early, but now he's hurt you a little bit the last few times you've pressured, and now he's in such a rhythm. So they're running the ball at you, and he's in a rhythm making the throws, and it's just tough to find the answer now defensively.
Well, you can really feel that there's a bit of a change here where the Grizzlies seem to, as you said, got their rhythm and seem to be kind of systematically moving the ball up the field.
Bergquist again has Mariani across the middle. Brought down at the 42-yard line by Ramon Lewis.
Well, folks, I'll tell you something right here. Watch this throw. I hope we get a replay of this. Cole Bergquist, phenomenal on the backside, off the play fake. He's going to set up. You're going to see 2 linebackers. Will Cleggett right there in the middle of your screen. Okay, and the other linebacker right there. That ball is in a tight window. You got about 5 yards to fit that thing right as Mariani comes across the field, and Cole, again, perfectly accurate pass right in between the middle linebackers.
Another 1st and 10 from Montana. Flags all over the place before the snap. Again,
Ball start, number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty, it remains first down.
Well, and Montana has done a nice job thus far today of not really hurting themselves, and they haven't been penalized too often. But even on a better side is, I think every time they have had a penalty, even the one they had the holding call and we're back on 1st and 20, I think they've converted almost every one. They've been able to still, even at 1st and 15 or 1st and 20, been able to convert and save themselves from those mistakes.
1st and 15 after the false start. Bergquist from the shotgun. Here come the Bobcats on a blitz. Bergquist has to get rid of it, and does. Really feeling the heat on that one, as Montana State brought the house.
And everybody's looking right now for an intentional grounding. A lot of times that's the referee's call. He was watching the end of the play, and I don't think he's going to, usually the referee's job is to look down the field and see if there was anybody in the area that could have been a potential receiver. Nice job, Cole, getting rid of it. There is nobody down there, but he's watching the end of play and making sure that the quarterback doesn't get roughed, and so I think he misses what could have been an intentional grounding right there.
Nonetheless, brings up 2nd and 15, 4 wide. Bergquist has time and has Tyler Palmer across the 40, brought down at the 47.
Well, and I just heard Coach Fennessy beside us in the booth yell, "Get upfield." Twice in this game, I've talked about how receivers have made catches and done a wonderful job of just cutting and getting directly upfield and going north-south, not wasting time and yardage really running east-west. This time Palmer, still a young receiver. He's going to go a little bit east-west. He should have gone right upfield, but he's going to learn that as he gets better and more mature.
3rd and 5 for the Grizzlies. And again, here comes the blitz. Bergquist looking for Palmer, and it falls incomplete.
Well, you know, we've talked about the pressure all day, but the Bobcats, there really doesn't seem to be anything in between. They're either getting upfield, getting pressure, as you see here, where they get the inside move from Fletcher here, force him out of the pocket, and then it's really a matter of trying to find somebody downfield before time runs out for you. Michael Beach, good coverage on Palmer there, and now they forced the 4th down.
Tyson Johnson on to punt for Montana. Josh Lewis back to receive. Long punt, and it takes a Bobcat bounce, squirts into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, good job by the Bobcat defense, and so many times Montana had converted after having those 1st and long, 2nd longs. That time Montana State able to turn them away.
Montana State takes over on their own 20-yard line with a 6-point deficit. Jack Rolovich under center and hands to Crawford, trying to find something on the corner, and picks up 1. A few more score updates from those high school football championships going on around the state. In the Class A championship game, Dillon has scored Billings Central with a 28-13 lead late in the 3rd quarter. And in the Class C 6-man football championship, Hysham up 35-20 over Augusta, also in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 8 coming for the Bobcats. Here's Crawford again. Lots of room up the middle. Brought down by Kiari Campbell at the 35.
Well, credit Coach Ash and his offensive staff of being patient and trying to continue to establish that run game. Again, something that they had some success with in the first half, but the numbers really didn't show it. But you got to believe you can still run the football, and right there, just a great hole, and Crawford finds it with good eyes and explodes through that hole. A big gain for Montana State.
Demetrius Crawford transferred to Montana State this summer from Sacramento City College, and here he is again. And here with a big hole on the left side. Forced out of bounds by Van Cooper, but another long run from Demetrius Crawford.
Well, you mentioned that Demetrius Crawford transferred here just this summer. A lot of the people in Bobcat land are wondered, just will Coach Ash be able to recruit? Well, as far as I know, this is his 1 recruit since he's been here, and if this is any indication, he's going to get it done.
He has moved up the depth chart with injuries at the running back position, and really, the Bobcats have not lost much. You've seen speed and quickness. There with a big gain to get into Montana territory. 1st and 10 from the Grizzly 38. Play action. Rolovich dumps it off to Brandon Bostic. Wrapped up by Van Cooper. Bostic picking up 4.
Well, the Grizzly defensive coach is a little bit ticked off at the last 2 big runs, kind of getting gashed there on 2 consecutive plays. So this time they bring the heat, something Montana doesn't do very often, but they come with the blitz, and Rolovich does a nice job just to get that ball off in the face of pressure, and a nice gain for Montana State moving the football here on this drive.
Bobcats out of the eye on 2nd and 7. Crawford again, and again with a big hole. Crawford wrapped up, barely.
Well, I think we talked about the Bobcats need to go out and establish the run. And I think we will see here, they've done a pretty good job of it so far on this drive. Really a lot of success. And Crawford, though not large in stature, really does a great job of getting the ball up the field. There's no side to side. He is hitting it north and south.
Shan Schillinger with the game-saving tackle there. Crawford goes to the house if Schillinger doesn't make the stop. Nonetheless, a 1st and 10 from the Montana 16. Crawford again. Again, positive yardage down to about the Montana 10. And the ball is out.
I think it did come out.
No whistles, and we will see what's at the bottom of this pile.
Looks like they're already signaling 2nd down, so Montana State either kept onto it or got it back. But, you know, Montana State's been a very good red zone defense thus far this year, and Montana also has been a very good red zone defense. They have taken such great pride in just not letting people get into the end zone when they get down into these situations. You've almost had to score big from them. You can see the ball right there. I mean, it did pop out, and Colt had it, but then kind of lost it. Does a great job right here of just ripping it out. You'll see it's like, oh, that's my ball. I think he tried to take off running, and a Bobcat will come back in here and secure it because of that.
It's difficult to tell when they get into that rugby type scrum just when the whistle is blown from up here.
Crawford on 2nd down. Wrapped up by Craig Metler.
Yeah, it's a nice play by Craig Metler right there. That play, there was movement on the left side. That play had some big possibilities, but Metler from the backside defensive line position, you're going to see he's going to just play across it and keep fighting. He gets down blocked right there, but he reads the down block and he fights across the face of the blocker. That's a great play by a defensive lineman and gets in on the play.
3rd and 6. Bobcats can pick up a 1st down if they get down to the 6-yard line. Rolovich out of the shotgun. Forced out of the pocket. And throws it out of the back of the end zone. Bringing up 4th down.
Well, it looks like the Bobcats are going to bring in the field goal team here. You know, I wish I had more confidence in that unit. They've converted, I think, less than a third of their attempts this year, but obviously, Coach Ash showing some confidence in his kickers as well as the rest of the team to know that they think they're going to be down here again, obviously.
You are right, Mike. Eric Fisher, 2 of 8 on field goal tries on the season. This one is no good, wide right. So the Montana dodges a bullet after a couple of big plays from the Bobcats. They'll take over when we come back. Well, the precipitation has held off here in Bozeman thus far. Late in the 3rd quarter, Montana takes over, leading by 6. 1st and 10 from their own 20. Cole Bergquist, the quarterback keeper, and picks up about 3 on the play. Let's send it back down to Rob McPherson on the sidelines.
Thanks, guys. You know, Mike, you alluded to it right as the field goal team was heading out there. This has been a major concern, is missed field goal. Eric Fisher with another miss. It'll be interesting to see what happens here in the rest of the game. Will Rob Ash become more aggressive? He has in the past, going for it on 4th down, or are they going to stay confident in that kicking team? They've got to get points when the Grizzlies give them to them because it just doesn't happen that often, guys.
Very good point. Thank you very much, Rob. 2nd and 7 upcoming. Lex Hilliard accelerates as he hits the line of scrimmage. and rumbles for near first down yardage, brought down just short, 3rd and 1 upcoming.
You just can't tackle Lex Hilliard up high. You see that here. If you try and go in and at the shoulder pad level, he's going to do exactly what he does here, and he's going to drag you for 5-6 yards at a shot.
Yeah, he's just got such strong legs. He's so strong down low, and you're right. The only way you can stop that is to take that strength away. When you hit him up high, he's just going to continue to roll. 3rd and short.
Hilliard on 3rd and 1 picks up the first down. Out across the 30 to the 32.
Well, Hilliard has shown that he definitely has the entire package. I mean, he's got moves and he can make people miss, which for a big guy, he really does have great cutting ability and makes people miss. But his strength is just to run straight ahead, run flat, just straight downhill. They call it being a downhill runner, a guy that's not concerned about making too many jukes. And you can see right there, that thumb is definitely bothering him.
Well, again, folks, coming up near the end of the game, we will present the Northwestern Energy players of the game. 1st and 10 from the 32. Bergquist looking, the fade to Ferreter, who makes the grab across midfield, brought down by Ramon Lewis.
Well, Mike, you talked about making adjustments based on defenders and their aggressive play. Well, this is a great call by Coach Fennessy right here. Aggressive call. What he's done all week all game is he's brought the outside receiver on a quick in route, and the corners are so good for Montana State. Michael Beach is jamming that corner or that route. He's going to follow it in, so they run a fade, kind of twist him up a little bit, run a fade with the inside guy, and just a great throw and even a better catch by Ferreter.
1st and 10. Lex Hilliard trying to find some space and does. Gains 4. Down to about the 41-yard line.
Well, you know, Coach Houck right now, one of his big emphasis this week is finishing drives. He knows his team is moving the ball up and down the field. They've had good success from the 20 to the 20 for the most part, but it's finishing that drive. It's when you get down there, what do you get out of it? Actually getting it in the end zone. And as we head to the 4th quarter, that's going to be the key. Can Montana finish their drives? There may be 1 or 2 finishing drives away from winning this football game.
1 quarter left to play here in Bozeman. Still anybody's game.
Get ready for the 4th quarter on Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
Welcome back to the D.A. Davidson Big Sky Classic, presented by Montana's news station.
4th quarter yet to play here in Bozeman. Montana with a 20-14 lead here in the 107th meeting between the two schools. And on 2nd and 5, Cole Bergquist, the play is broken, trying to find somebody and just throws it out of bounds. So 3rd and 5 coming up here.
Montana State brought the blitz, and it was a perfect call. Good timing on the call because they blitz right into where Cole Bergquist is bootlegging. Might be a really good call without the blitz, but again, a good call, good guessing, or providence, I guess, by Montana State. Cole Bergquist makes a good decision, though. Once he eludes the blitz, just get rid of the football and live to play another down.
Well, another big 3rd down. We've seen them all day, and we haven't seen many where the Cats haven't brought at least 1 or 2 of those linebackers, so I would expect to see that here as well.
3 down linemen for the Bobcats. On 3rd and 5. Bergquist, the quick drop, and hits Rob Schulte short of the 1st down.
Well, and unfortunate for Montana fans, because a good decision. If he gets this ball up and Schulte's able to run with it, this could be 6. Grizzlies did a nice job of running slants on the outside and almost kind of picking off the inside receiver, Schulte. If he catches that clean, he's chasing, he's running. And Coach Houck here, it was immediate. He's going to go for this on 4th down.
It's that area of the field right at the 37-yard line. Grizzlies out of the eye. 4th and 1. Play action. Bergquist with time and has his tight end, Stephen Failer,
Well, what a call by Coach Fennessy. Crosses everybody up. Montana State actually did a nice job of covering it. I think there's about 20,000 people here in the stadium, and all the players included, that thought Lex Hilliard was going to get the ball, but a good call to mix it up a little bit, and another strike by Cole Bergquist.
Well, we haven't talked about him a whole lot today, but Stephen Failer is having a great game. He is blocked outstandingly today, and there he gets a chance to actually make the reception on a big third down pickup for the Montana Grizzlies.
And that, folks, the completion to the tight end Failer on 4th and 1 is our momentum plating change of the game, and the ferry to Eric Allen is a touchdown.
Well, it's a blown coverage by the Bobcats. It's just simply a blown coverage. Rotoriano and the corner end up just kind of throwing their arms at each other. Not sure what happened, but definitely just a blown coverage. One guy thought they were in one cover, and the other guy thought another coverage. And you can see Eric Allen just gets loose and is wide open down the field.
Yeah, Arnold Briggs, who I don't think we've seen much of today, but he clearly was not on the same page with the rest of the defense there. He stopped, set down as if he was in a short zone, and that guy went right over the top.
Dan Carpenter's extra point is good, and like that, Montana gives themselves a bit of a cushion. Cole Bergquist finding Eric Allen for the second time today. We'll be right back.
You know, especially with Begley being out.
So the Grizzlies take a 27-14 lead on the touchdown catch for Eric Allen, his second of the afternoon, and they don't come much easier than that, guys.
Well, they don't, but you know, the key was that 4th down play, huge conversion, a strike from Cole Bergquist to Stephen Failer, and moves the chains and gives them a chance. And now Montana's defense is in the position that they love to be in. Their offense has given them a little bit of room, a little bit of cushion, and they can just relax and play fundamental football.
Josh Lewis out to about the 34-yard line. Let's send it back down to Amanda Maynard on the sidelines.
Thanks, guys. Well, we said in the pregame show that one of the keys to this game was going to be the receivers stepping up. And it seemed in that last drive, they have done just that. Big play for Eric Allen, second touchdown of the day. And if the Grizz keep this up, could be in the bag. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Amanda. Still almost the whole 4th quarter to play, and Montana State trailing by just 2 scores, so this one far from in the books. We have seen some wacky battles between these two schools before. Derek Green in motion on 1st and 10 from the 34. Rolovich to throw, has time, and nearly connects with Green. Green, however, can't hold on, 2nd and 10.
Well, we have got to give credit right now to the offensive tackles for Montana State. Number 74, Jeff Miller, and number 53, Peter Jensen, have just done a phenomenal job. We have not mentioned Croy Bierman's name really all day long, and Mike Stadnik on the other side as well. Mike did get 1 sack early, but boy, give those 2 offensive tackles credit. They have done a fabulous job all day long protecting their quarterback.
Flags before the snap.
False start, number 76 offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Well, just to get back to that issue, Grady, I was just about to say the same thing, because I saw an interview this week where Peter Jensen was in, where Peter Jensen was interviewed and said, hey, you know, it's not a lack of respect, but I want Corey Bierman on my side every time, and let's go and let's get it done. And my first thought was, geez, be careful what you wish for. But he has done an excellent job today.
Bobcats shift into the I. 2nd and 15. Crawford met at the line of scrimmage, a hard hit.
Well, and there's a better run fit. What I'm talking about there is every defense you design, you want to really fit each of your defenders into every gap possible along the offensive front. And at times, Montana State has eliminated some of those those defenders and had big holes. This time, there's nowhere to go. You can't go straight forward. You can't cut back. Every lane is plugged. That's a nice job by the linebackers and secondary of, again, fitting up into those gaps and closing any alleys off.
Coming up near the end of the game, we'll present the Northwestern Energy players of the game. Demetrius Crawford, over 100 yards rushing on the day and the 2 touchdowns. Rolovich on 3rd and 15, forced out of the pocket and comes back and has Derek Green. Green with a move, and Green with a lot of room in front of him and chased down from behind by Croy Bierman.
Sorry, obviously a huge play. We're all up here just wondering what to say, but huge play by the Bobcats, but I have to mention Troy Bierman makes the tackle.
Unbelievable. You think you've got Rolovich goes back here, fires, really makes a play with his arm. Green does a nice job stepping underneath, turning this thing upfield, but you can't see it here, but it was an unbelievable. You think you got a foot race with your wide receiver and their defensive end. You got to have a smile on your face until that happens.
Well, Croy Bierman just showed you why he's going to play possibly on Sundays, fans. A guy that's going to rush the passer but then runs 50 yards down the field to make a huge tackle.
Crawford on first down, met by Chris Clark at the corner, loses one on the play, 2nd and 11.
Well, it seems to me that the key for Montana State, really, not the key, but where they've had their best success offensively is when Rolovich gets outside of the pocket, whether it's bootlegs or just rolling him out. They have really hurt Montana. And we're not talking about just, moving the chains and getting some nice completions, but big plays. Montana State has had big plays every time Rolovich has gotten outside of that pocket.
Rolovich under center on 2nd down. Play action to Crawford. Looking for the end zone, or no, underneath. And has Green again. Green bouncing off tackles, makes the catch and gets it down to the 5-yard line.
Well, and just like we talked about, Mike, that's a big weapon today for Montana State, who's just bouncing right back from the score from Montana. Again, a bootleg. They roll Rolovich out, and big things are happening. This is something you don't see happen really ever.
I was going to say,
Colt Anderson.
Colt Anderson is one of the surest tacklers I think I've ever seen play the game, and for him to miss one is really strange. But, hey, we talked about when you get down in the red zone, you've got to smell the end zone. The Bobcats came up with nothing the last time down here. They have got to get 6 here.
Rolovich dumps it off for Crawford, and he's brought down short of the goal line. That brings up 2nd down, and Derek Green, the sophomore wideout from Billings Senior, has been the difference maker on this drive for Montana State.
He's really come alive for them. He had a great game last week against Portland State, obviously having a very effective game today. But what we've got to figure out, if you're a Montana State fan, is how do we get this thing in the red zone? We have got to score here.
Crawford the lone back, 2nd and 4. Crawford stopped short of the goal line.
Well, and that's the same play Montana State used on their first drive when they just dominated the line of scrimmage, bring their weak side around. They get movement on the right side, bring some guys from the weak side around. You'll see right here the backside guard's going to pull around. It's just a simple guard around play and put a huge hole. Tyler Joyce just a little bit high, and Crawford's able to drive down inside the 2-yard line.
3rd and goal.
Does it go without saying that it's 2-down territory?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Ash has got 2 plays ready to go right here.
Isaiah Taito stopped short. Mike Stadnik wrapped him up short of the goal line. That brings up 4th down.
Well, it's the same exact play, just a little bit bigger back, but the same play. The weak side guard's going to pull around and lead up into the hole. Basically, you're just getting an isolation type play, but now you get 2 guys because you bring your guard around as well. And it's 4th down, and Coach Ash for sure is going to go for it. Again, you're going to find out a lot about some individuals on this football play right here. 4th and goal. Ball is inside the 1-yard line. You're looking at 1 foot.
Well, the Grizzlies brought in an extra defensive lineman here, took a backer out. They definitely are looking to see this thing run in the trenches. Coach Ash is going to think about it and take time out.
Well, folks, while they're talking about that, here's something for you guys to chew on. Time now for our Don Adson Ford trivia here in the second half. Today marks the 107th meeting in this historic rivalry. Who won the very first game between the Grizz and the Cats back in 1897?
Well, I was a pretty young boy back then, but I'm not sure if I can remember it, but I do think that the Grizz came out on top on that one.
Well, the fact that the Grizzlies are winning the series 66-35 would mean they've probably, well, obviously won more often than not, but that means that first one might have gone to them. And, you know, thanks to the the Bozeman Daily Chronicle today did really a fantastic spread. They had so many things in their paper. Hey, credit those guys for the great job they did, but they had every game reported on and then breakdowns and capsules. They rated the top 10, and it was just a fantastic paper today to look at, and they gave all the scores. So it was Montana 18-6, as you see right there on your screen.
Well, you didn't even need to look at the paper. You guys were already playing the percentages.
And I'll tell you, that was, as I recall, that was a touchdown. It was not 2 field goals.
4th and goal from inside the 1. Isaiah Taito, the deep back dotting the I for Montana State. And Taito with the carry, dives in the end zone, touchdown.
Well, you got to give credit to the offensive line up front for Montana State, but also tight end number 91, Joe Schreibus from Billings, comes in there as the lead blocker in those situations and did a nice job. He's done a nice job all day of leading up into the hole and leading for Crawford and Taito to get in. And Bostic is kind of limping off right now as well, which is not good news for Montana State.
No, he has had some ankle problems this week, is my understanding. That looks like he is walking gingerly as he makes it to the sideline.
Eric Fisher on to attempt the extra point for the Bobcats. Fisher's kick is blocked.
Well, remember, this can go back. In college, you can return it, and you can get some points out of it.
Joyce across midfield. Still up the sideline and forced out of bounds. So it will not be returned, but the point after touchdown is blocked, so Montana maintains a 7-point lead. Midway through the 4th. We'll be right back. Craig Metler, the junior defensive tackle from Walla Walla, Washington, comes through the line untouched and takes that extra point in the face. It's blocked, and we're at 27-20 here with 9.5 minutes to play.
Well, and it's a big play, Mike, but I would guess right now, I would maybe put a bet on the fact that Coach Ash, let's say they get the ball back and get a chance to score. With everything, how it's kind of set up, I bet Coach Ash has a 2-point play in mind, and instead of going for the tie at 27-27, I bet he'd run a 2-point play to go for the win here.
Well, you've got to think so. I mean, they're just, with the myriad of problems they've had in that kicking game, you know, your percentages may be better going for the 2.
Right.
Regardless of the fact that you know that puts you over the top for the win.
Rob Schulte with good blocking up front on the return, gets it across the 40, so the Grizzlies will take over in good field position here to start this possession.
Yeah, the field position, we talked about Montana State had enjoyed the advantage in that category in the first half, really, but I think the tables have turned now. Montana's had good field position this entire second half, and it started, of course, right away with the interception by Colt Anderson.
Lex Hilliard picks up 2 on first down. We have gone final in the state Class A championship game. Billings Central knocks off Dillon, 28-13 the final score.
Well, this is where Coach Houck really has wanted his team to be all year long, in the 4th quarter, holding on to a lead and give the game over to your offensive line and Lex Hilliard.
2nd and 8 to give to Hilliard. And again, picks up about 4 or 5, brought down a couple yards short of first down yardage.
I know Grizz fans all year have wanted more. They've wanted more offensive production, potentially, maybe more points and bigger leads and all that kind of stuff. But this is the way Coach Houck likes to play, physical football. And in the 4th quarter, he wants to have a team that no matter what the score is, yeah, you want to blow people out maybe, but if you're in tight games, can you win the football game by giving it to your offensive line and your great running back and just saying, let's flat physically win this football game.
There's your MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive from the Bobcats' last possession. Of course, for news and stats on all Grizz athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. The toss to Hilliard. Lowers the shoulder across midfield. Picks up a first down for Montana.
Well, great blocking on the edge. And actually, really all day, when Montana has tried to run the toss play, Montana State has done a nice job. They have really, I think, had the upper hand in the tosses. But you see the job, the blocking by Dan Bowden and Claybo on the outside. And Lex has a nice gap right there, and he hits it and moves the sticks.
moving the sticks, and you're talking about and moving them on the ground. You mentioned that the Grizzlies fans have wanted more scoring, but really, the Grizzlies haven't dominated anybody very often this year in the scoring category, but the ability to do this, move the chains late in the game with your running game, allows you to seal this thing up by just keeping the other team's offense off the field.
Illegal snap, number 79 offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Now, this is the kind of stuff that'll just give Coach Houck ulcers. You're trying to put the game away, and you're watching, you're looking up at that clock, and you know that just, 2-3 more first downs and maybe any kind of score. You get into Dan Carpenter range, and he can kind of maybe put the finishing touches on this one, but those kinds of mistakes can just kill you.
1st and 15 after the penalty. Mike Ferreter, the receiver in the slot. Eric Allen just off your screen. To the bottom. Hilliard bounces to the outside. Has room and just brought down David Taylor.
Oh, and
flags after the play.
And it's a big play potentially. If this is a late hit, Mike, on Montana State, oh man, that is going to be very, very costly.
I didn't see the end of the run, but it sure is in the area that you would.
Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds.
Yes,
number 47 defense. 15-yard penalty added from the end of the run.
That is an absolute killer because you had them backed up 1st and 15, and sure, that's a nice gain, but you're still looking at a 2nd and 8, and now all of a sudden a first down, and we're in Dan Carpenter range. So that's the key, really, is Dan Carpenter is such a weapon that you get down into this territory, and it's almost a for sure 3, which really gives you a lot of.
Yeah, that you see in the replay there. Hey, Dane Fletcher comes all the way from the backside and he chases the entire time. Slides into him on his knee. I don't know if that's a call you really need to make at this point in the game and at that point in the play. That's a tough call right there.
Tough call.
Penalty sets Montana up with a 1st and 10 from the Bobcat 26. Bergquist needs to get rid of it. Instead tucks it. Shedding tacklers. Finally forced out of bounds by Bryant Matthews. Bergquist, however, picked up about 5.
Well, he picks up 5 or 6, and I think he ran maybe 75 yards to get it. Again, Cole Bergquist so deceptive with his speed. I've said all year, he doesn't look very fast when he runs the football, but he obviously is. He just moves away from defenders, and he has the ability to to really run well with the football. Again, covers a lot of distance here. The key thing, though, is picks up about 5 yards.
2nd and 5. Hilliard, the lone back. 3 wideouts for the Grizzlies. And Hilliard is stuffed.
Well, the Bobcat defense does a nice job. You can see here, coming from the outside, Fletcher gets cut, but Will Claggett finishes through, makes a tackle for the loss. Brings up yet another big 3rd down.
Claggett, the senior from Marysville, California.
Montana's been pretty efficient. I believe they're about 10 for 16 thus far today on 3rd downs, which is a great percentage. And see if Cole Bergquist can come through again on 3rd down for the Grizz.
6 yards to go. Bergquist fires to the outside, has Mike Ferreter, who turns it upfield. He's forced out of bounds, but Ferreter does pick up a 1st down for Montana.
Well, Coach Fennessy and the offensive staff for Montana have had the answer in the 2nd half. Montana State bringing the pressure once again. They've done it all day on these 3rd downs, and were very successful in the 1st half, but Montana made the adjustments at halftime that they needed to make, and have not only protected well, but have done a nice job of converting. And again, I'm not sure exactly officially what Montana's 3rd down conversion rate is, but it's very good today.
Hilliard on 1st down, has blockers over the right corner, gets it down inside the 5-yard line, and stays in bounds as the clock continues to run.
Well, and you can see at the finish of that play, Lex Hilliard's wrist is really bugging him. His thumb, you can see it's really giving him some trouble. But I tell you what, he just continues to be a warrior and just battle and battle. And again, Coach Houck just flat giving this game to his big offensive line and to number 38.
Boy, you really wonder about with Lex. As we mentioned, this is it for the Bobcats. Today is the last day of this season, but the Grizzlies have always got next week as this thing plays out, and you really, at this point in the game, maybe starting to think about that.
Hilliard on first, straight up the gut.
Well, it was 2nd and 2, so a chance to get a first down, which again, what's tough for Montana State in this situation is you're looking at 4, maybe 5 more cracks. It looks like it's going to be 3rd and just inches. So Montana's going to have 4 cracks potentially to get these 3 short yards. And with 5 minutes on the clock, depending on how stiff Montana State is here, that's going to run a lot of time off that clock.
3rd and 1 from the 3. Hilliard stood up. Will Claggett stopping Hilliard short of the first down, it appears. That'll bring up 4th.
Well, good stop there for the Bobcats. I mean, you want to try and keep this thing in reach. Clearly, you're far better off. There's still 2 scores, but one of them, it would be the field goal.
Well, the key right there, the clear key right there, Phil, is the fact that they only had 1 play to be run. If they would have gotten the first down and again had the chance to run 3 or 4 more plays, the clock's going to run off maybe 2 more minutes. So for Montana State's sake, 4.5 left on the clock. That's a huge play by Claggett if in fact this is a stop.
It could be a first down.
And it is a first down.
A favorable spot to say the least.
Boy.
And the Grizzlies will take
I don't want
over.
my bias to sneak too far in here, but that looked like he never got back to the original line of scrimmage, let alone enough to gain yardage and pick up the first down.
Nonetheless, the call has been made. Grizzlies with a 1st and goal from the 2.
Well, for sure, it's a chip shot field goal now for Montana and Dan Carpenter if they don't get this in. But you'd have to believe with 3 cracks out at minimum that getting 2 yards with this big offensive line and Lex Hilliard should not be a problem.
Hilliard stopped on first down. Clock ticking down, less than 4 minutes to play.
Kind of surprising there, Mike, that they tried to run outside. They've run the toss pretty well, but that's an outside zone play, a stretch play, which a little bit surprising when you've had such good success just running straight at the teeth of this Montana State defense.
Right. Yeah. The last 2 drives, they've really established Lex as someone that can, they can get straight up the field and be effective with.
Hilliard on 2nd down, dives for the end zone, touchdown. Lex Hilliard's 50th career touchdown at the University of Montana.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 50 touchdowns. When you think about that record and what that means and the career that Lex Hilliard has had, he couldn't have enjoyed a better 50th touchdown than that one right there, which has a good chance anyways of kind of putting the finishing touches on what's going to be his first win here in Bozeman. I know that's something that meant a lot to him. He's had a great career, but he has not yet experienced winning here on this field, and looks like there's a good chance of that now.
Dan Carpenter's extra point is good. And so we go to break. 3.5 minutes to play in Bozeman. Grizzlies on top by a couple of touchdowns. Lex Hilliard's 50th career touchdown at the University of Montana may just been his favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you couldn't have a sweeter 50th. As I mentioned, I know it meant a lot to him to finally win down here in Bozeman. You've had such a great career, and you've had all the success, the league championships and going to the playoffs and all that. But when you're 0 in Bozeman against your rival, that's just something you don't want to let stick.
Dan Carpenter kicks off after the touchdown. The return out across the 25, brought down near the 30.
Well, I know it kind of gets cliche, but with 3:31 and Jack Rolovich as your quarterback, this game is not over. Last night I sat and watched Billings Senior score with just over 4 minutes to go up by 17, 27-17, and then Helena Capital comes roaring back, gets a quick touchdown, gets an onside kick, and scores with under a minute to go to win a state championship and basically just snatch it away from Billings Senior. So it's clearly not over, and Jack Rolovich and this receiving crew now have a chance to make something special happen.
Crazier things have happened in this rivalry that's been going on now for over a century. Jack Rolovich on first down, doing a little dance in the pocket, and the little shovel pass is picked off.
Well, there's just, you look, a kid just trying to do a little bit too much. You're feeling the pressure of the clock. You're behind 2 touchdowns in your last college football game, and you just make a poor decision as you get out here. You see him get out. Troy Bierman comes upfield hard.
Yes.
Rolovich is able to step underneath him, but then as he leaves the pocket, Bierman's out behind him again, and he just makes a poor decision here and tries to flip this ball upfield. Really, you're just not going to have any positive results when you try to make a play like that.
Well, you talk about Croy Bierman right there, Mike, and that's why he's a Buck Buchanan Award, really, I think, a favorite. And, Peter Jensen did a fabulous job. Give that young man credit for Montana State. Really shut him out today as far as the statistic category, but you see why he's such a great a defensive end, because he continues to play hard. And yeah, Lauren Utterback gets the interception, great play by him, but that is all because of the continued effort by Croy Bierman.
Well, you talked about it in the open. He's got a great motor. There's 3 minutes left in this ball game, and he is still working every single play. Hasn't had a lot of success today, but the motor doesn't stop. The effort is always there with Croy Bierman.
There's a look at the MontanaGrizzlies.com scoring drive from the Grizzlies' last possession. For news and stats on all Grizz athletics, log on to MontanaGrizzlies.com. You mentioned Lauren Utterback with his second interception of the season. Utterback, a former Class B standout at Fort Benton High School here in Montana. And Lex Hilliard breaking another big run across the 10 into the end zone, touchdown.
Well, and that for sure obviously is going to seal the deal. And the Montana coaches in the booth beside us, now they know it is over. Stranger things have happened, but 21 points in 2.5 minutes is definitely not going to happen. And number 51, Phil, for Lex, number 51 touchdown. And he kind of puts it into real cruise mode here. And
yay.
the thing about that you worry about is just something like that, a crazy injury when you kind of just coast in, but man, what a great day Lex Hilliard had against the Bobcats.
Well, Lex Hilliard is obviously a phenomenal player, has a great career. You talk about the records he has broken. I, for one, have enjoyed watching him play. I will enjoy watching him on Sundays much more than I ever did on Saturdays, because it's been a little bit painful from the blue and gold side with the game he's had.
Yeah, it's really the way that all Montana fans felt about Travis Lule. It was just, man, great career and fun to watch him. What a phenomenal player. But the day he graduated, there was a little bit of a party thrown in Missoula, because he really changed the face of this series. I mean, he was the one that stopped the big streak and got 3 wins. And Lex Hilliard has had such a phenomenal career that I can understand your joy in watching him graduate, I guess. But Croy Bierman's another guy that I really believe has a chance to play on Sundays. I know he's a little bit undersized to play down, but I think he's athletic enough. You saw him when he chases a receiver 50 yards down the field. I think he's athletic enough to stand up and play outside linebacker, and you'd have more of a feel, Mike, than I would. But I just think Croy Bierman might be a guy we might see on Sundays as well.
No, I think there's clearly an opportunity for him. And you look with the things that have happened at Miami for the Grizzlies this week, with having a player activated that really you wondered if he had the size and really the speed to do it. But with his, I think a lot of that effort, when you have that constant motor, it can really pay dividends.
This is David Taylor going for the corner, wrapped up by Tyler Palmer at the 28-yard line. And we mentioned that touchdown run by Lex Hilliard set up by Lauren Utterback's second interception of the season. Utterback played his high school football at Fort Benton High School, a Class B powerhouse. We have a final score from the Class B state championship game. Baker has defeated Fairfield 25-14.
Well, you're looking at a warrior right there, folks. There is a true warrior in every sense of the word. just brings everything you want from a coaching standpoint to the game of football. Lex Hilliard possesses it all.
You saw the big hug from Bobby Houck for his senior running back after that last touchdown. Hilliard's third of the game. As that pass falls incomplete.
Well, and one of the keys really for Montana, again, we've kind of alluded to it in the broadcast, is they at times haven't finished games like this. They've found ways to win, and at times it's been kind of, you know, almost scary, and they've just barely, you almost feel like escaped, and it's let a lot of people say, well, man, this is the most overrated 10-0 team in the league, and all this kind of stuff. So today's, I think, a big statement for them. As they head into the playoffs, it's a big statement to really finish in great fashion and kind of just blow this game open. As you head into the playoffs next week, it's a big confidence booster and a big statement, just what they needed.
Rolovich off the play action, looking down the sideline for Green, and Green never turned around. It's thrown behind him. The incompletion brings up 3rd and 10.
They clearly were not on the same page there. I think Rolovich was looking for him to do a stop there, and Green took it upfield. Really no chance at a completion.
Well, and one of the things I definitely want to mention too, however, you know, Coach Ash, I think he's doing the right things. He's got this program, you know, going in the right direction. And I listened to him talk this summer at the clinic. He was the first speaker up, and very impressed with him and what he brings to the game and his approach. And Montana State has had a nice year, and you got to give them credit, I think, for the way they played today. Yeah, the score is going to look a little bit ugly, and it's going to appear much worse than it really was at 41-20. This was a close football game, and Montana State played very well. And you got to give all these seniors from Montana State credit and how they came out and battled today, and really the careers that they've had, because they've had a nice career here at Montana State.
They really have. You know, they've capped off another winning season. I think that's been 6 consecutive for them. They've had things rolling, obviously, with the changing coaches, and the late change this year made it really difficult for them to come in. You know, you get the job in June. You got to be ready, but in the end of August to go play football games, I really don't think it allows you to do all the things that you want to do. So I think we should look forward to seeing a lot more from this staff.
Rob Schulte going to let this punt take a bounce, and it rolls out of bounds at the 21-yard line. And some extracurricular activities. Let's take a look now at a future star for the Montana State Bobcats as we profile Leo Davis. Leo's a 6'4" defensive lineman from Billings who currently is redshirting for the Bobcats. He was an all-state selection his senior year at Billings Skyview and originally signed with Colorado State before joining the Bobcats after gaining his release from CSU. Head coach of the Bobcats, Rob Ash, says Leo had a great freshman year. He can't wait for him to get into the weight room and get ready for next season. That's why Leo Davis is today's Banking on the Future featured athlete for the Montana State Bobcats. Again, brought to you by First Interstate Bank. With banks across Montana and Wyoming, it's our home too. Just over 2 minutes left to play. Thomas Brooks Fletcher gets the handoff and gains 5 as Montana attempts to run the clock, and Bobby Houck getting doused on the sidelines.
Well, let me add to that. First of all, thank you, First Interstate Bank, for doing that feature today. That is a great new feature. And, you know, I had the privilege this summer of coaching in 2 All-Star games, the MONDAC, the Montana North Dakota All-Star game, and the East-West Shrine game. And, you know, I tell you, you got to be excited if you're a Bobcat fan, Mike, because when I was at the MONDAC game especially, it seemed like over half of the roster of a very talented team, a very good football team, came here to Montana State. Leo Davis was one of those, Dan Ogden. There's just some great players that signed with the Bobcats.
No, I think the future is going to look bright. Obviously, you know, it's hard to really be too excited today. You go through a hard-fought battle where you really were in it. Then in the fourth quarter, things just that got away from this team. But I think those young kids are going to see this. They're going to learn from it, and the future really will be bright for the Bobcats.
And on the other side, you know, how excited is Coach Houck again to really get kind of the statement game that he wants from his team, to be close, to have a good hard-fought battle, and in the fourth quarter just hand it to your offensive line and to Lex Hilliard and just simply blow it open with those big guys. That's exactly what he wants, and it happened for him today.
Well, there you saw. Now time to present the Northwestern Energy players of the game for the Montana Grizzlies. A no-brainer. Lex Hilliard, over 100 yards and 3 touches on the day. A big one for the senior out of Flathead High School in Kalispell. His first time to beat the Bobcats in Bozeman. The same goes for Bobby Houck. And there's a look at Demetrius Crawford, your player of the game for the Montana State Bobcats. Northwestern Energy, delivering a bright future. The Montana Grizzlies remain undefeated and win here in Bozeman for the first time since Bobby Houck took over the job.
Well, of course, it was a big win because it's the Grizz-Cat rivalry game, so that's to be without saying. But the fact is, I think for Montana heading into the playoffs next week, it is just a huge confidence builder and really a statement game. The way they played today, the way they finished the game, the way they kind of blew it open in the end, I think it really sets them up now for a great run. I mean, undefeated, which I don't care what you say or how you want to talk about it, going undefeated in any league at any level is tough to do. It is an amazing feat. It's an amazing accomplishment. So all you can do is give credit where credit is due. Coach Houck, his staff, and his players, of course, for running the table. And now it's exciting. You're looking at probably 3 home games in Washington Grizzlies Stadium, which, you got to be thinking national championship now. Of course, that's where their focus has been all year, and now it's time to get it on next week.
Well, there you see Dan Carter planting a wet one on the trophy. The same goes for Coach Houck, and he's excited. A little cigar from Craig Metler as the Grizzlies celebrate an undefeated regular season. And next, they will find out tomorrow who they play in the first round of the playoffs. The NCAA selection announcement for the 16-team football championship subdivision playoff bracket will be announced tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. So stay tuned to find out who Montana will host in the first round of the playoffs. 41-20. The final score from Bobcat Stadium here in Bozeman. We'll be right back to wrap things up after these messages. Well, there you see the Grizzlies giving the salute to the Montana faithful that made the trip here to Bozeman for today's game. 41-20 the final score as the Montana Grizzlies remain undefeated on the season. And Grady, you had something you wanted to talk about your boy Lex Hilliard.
Well, Lex Hilliard, terrific game. Obviously our player of the game, and I think the stats that came up on the TV showed that he had 128 yards, but officially Lex Hilliard rushes 32 times for 181 yards and 3 touchdowns. A fabulous game, averages 5.7 yards a carry, and really for a fantastic player that he is, a signature game really to finish his regular season as a senior Montana Grizzly football player.
Well, and on top of all that, there's talk that he may not play. He's got the thumb. Hey, the guy came out and just at a game where I keep saying that the Grizzlies have next week, the Bobcats didn't. You wonder if you've got a guy who is such a big part of your team that's banged up like that maybe you hold him out of this game. I don't think there's any way possible that Lex Hilliard would have let that happen, because he came out today and just strapped the Grizzlies on his backs and said, let's go, boys.
Man, absolutely, he did do that. And you know what's good is for Montana, there was some receivers that did step up. With Ryan Begley being out, they needed some guys to step up and get involved in the passing game. If nothing else, to establish some confidence in Cole Bergquist's mind going into the playoffs, for him to have some guys that he can look to, some guys that he can find. And I think Cole did that today. Eric Allen had a nice day. There were some other younger receivers that stepped up and made some big catches. So again, you feel really good about Montana going into the playoffs now, the way they're playing, just the way this game went for them to finish off their undefeated regular season, which again I think is a phenomenal feat.
Well, Coach Houck has been making a few appearances. He's had a few hugs, to say the least. Let's send it down. He's caught up with Rob McPherson on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. Coach, it's been a couple years since you've been able to win here in Bozeman. How sweet is it to win in a hostile environment here?
It's good. It's beating your rival in their stadium's about as good as it gets. It was a real great performance by our kids. Our assistant coaches put a great game plan together, and I'm excited for all of them.
What can you say about the effort of your team in the second half? It was close. You guys came out, got a turnover right away, scored, and just built off that.
We did. We're a good 4-quarter football team. We played well for 4 quarters all year. That's probably why we're undefeated right now.
Talk about the momentum this gives you and the charge this is you heading into the postseason. Your season is not over yet.
No, it's not, and we'll be real excited to see who we're going to play next weekend. We'll find out tomorrow afternoon. And 11-0, we've only had 3 perfect regular seasons in school history. It's been since '96 and then '69 and '70 since we did that. I'm just so dang proud of these kids and these assistant coaches. They're a great bunch. I love them all.
Coach, congratulations. Phil, we're going to send it back up to you. We will have a player for you in just a couple minutes.
Well, thank you, Rob. We'll certainly stick around for that. And while he tracks down a player, final thoughts, gentlemen.
Well, I just, obviously I'm a Bobcat fan, and I was rooting for the Bobcats today. But you got to give it to Bobby Houck. Bobby is a class act. He's a friend. He's had a rough week. And for him to come back, bounce back, keep this team focused through all that occurred, and come out here and play an excellent football game. I think you got to just tip your hat to Bobby and the rest of the staff and to the Grizzly players. A great win down here in Bozeman.
Yeah, and I guess I would just add, I've already mentioned a lot about how I feel they're going into the playoffs, but I think Bobby just said it. They are a great four-quarter team, and that gives you so much belief in what you can accomplish in the playoffs, because no matter who you face, you're going to get 4 tremendous quarters of solid execution and effort from the Montana Grizzlies. So that really gives you a chance against anybody in the country, no matter who you play in the playoffs.
Well, Rob McPherson has caught up with the Grizzlies player of the game, Lex Hilliard.
Lex, one of the men of the hour here. Talk about those 2 touchdowns you got in the second half. Touchdowns 50 and 51. How sweet was it to do it right here in Bozeman?
Oh man, I mean, we came here the last 4 years. I mean, we didn't win down here. Guys played hard. We came out hard. I mean, we were down at the start, and guys just pushed through, and we had confidence in ourselves, and we just came out here and played hard.
Talk about the effort of this football team in the second half. This thing was close all the way down the wire. It looked like it might stay close, and you guys were able to open it up.
Oh, I mean, Montana State, they came out strong. I mean, they're putting hits on us for sure, and I mean, our guys just stayed focused, and I mean, even though we were down, we just stayed positive and just kept on fighting through, through the thick and the thin.
Lex, you guys just had an undefeated regular season. How does that mean to you, especially your senior year here?
Oh, I've never had an undefeated season my whole life, so I mean, it's great. It's amazing. I mean, just great contribute to my team and just everybody, coaching staff all around. I mean, everybody just put in everything they could, to get us to 11-0.
Your guys' season's far from over. You still have a lot of football to be played. How much does this help, energizing you guys to go into the postseason now?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we just got to play it one game at a time. Every team that we win against this season, I mean, they gave it us our best shot, and I mean, we just stayed focused and, I mean, stayed on, found a way to win. So I mean, we just got to keep on doing that.
Lex, congratulations, big game, bud.
Thank you.
Phil, let's send it back up to you guys.
Thank you very much, Rob, and that about does it for us from Bozeman. For Rob McPherson and Amanda Maynard down on the sidelines, for Mike Callahan and Grady Bennett, thanks for joining us up here in the booth. I'm Phil Buck. Grizzlies win it 41-20. They're headed to the playoffs. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Now, back to Grizzly Gridiron Classics.
Hilliard finished the game with 181 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Grizzlies went a perfect 11-0 in the regular season. The Kalispell native would finish as one of the best Grizz players of all time before continuing his football career into the NFL. Thanks for watching Week 8 of our Grizzly Gridiron Classics. Next week, we jump to the 2008 season when Montana once again made a run for the national championship and had a big surprise for Grizz fans in that year's rivalry game with Montana State. See you then.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Bobby Houck Show. Maybe the biggest and most satisfying one of the year for you, Coach, I would imagine.
Yeah, yesterday was a lot of fun, Phil, and you and I in here, and we're having a little banter back and forth. That's a good time. And going 11-0, in particular, winning on their home field down there was really sweet for our football team. I know our guys are excited, and I'm excited, and I'm just, as usual, real grateful for our assistant coaches and our players for doing such a great job yesterday, and I get to come out here and talk about it.
Well, 11-0, quite a feat, and I know I am supposed to be unbiased, but it's no secret.
You don't have to be unbiased. Come on, we're on here every week. That doesn't work.
Well, you know, I mean, I take it pretty seriously, and I really try. But being a Montana grad, I'd be lying if I said I didn't personally get a lot of satisfaction out of watching you guys yesterday.
Well, I'm hopeful that Montana grads everywhere got a chance. I know there were thousands and thousands of people around the country that got to watch that game at different satellite parties and on ESPN game day, and I'm hopeful those Montana fans are all real proud of their football team and what they've accomplished this year.
Well, and you guys, I mean, played very well despite, I mean, you have had some real ups and downs this week.
Yeah, it was an interesting week, no doubt about it, and you know, I've kind of addressed that and talked about how saddened I am by 3 of our players' decisions to get involved in something they shouldn't have, allegedly. Mm-hmm. And you know, it gets blown up. I mean, you got a news director here that's pulling quotes off an internet chat room, hoping to make his story more sexy. And I would think that they'd be just the opposite. People in Montana are smart. Our fans are intelligent, and I would think that they'd have to start questioning the news credibility when you're taking information there. And you got a dinosaur of an investigative reporter that's, for lack of more creativity, runs to the president's office to question him about the football program. That guy's been working for 18 years trying to keep this ship afloat. He's a busy guy. He works 16-hour days, and to bother him with that's a little bit, bugs me a little bit. But that's not my job. That's theirs.
Well, your job winning football games, Coach, and you've done that 11 times this year. You really got your players up to play yesterday, and they played very well. A complete game. Let's jump into the highlights.
Let's do that. Let's get off that other stuff and get on to this. This is going to be fun.
We've got lots of football to talk about, and we've got lots more football to play, which we'll talk about later coming up in the show. But let's start yesterday's game in Bozeman.
Well, you know, here's the opening kickoff. They changed some things on the kickoff coverage, did a pretty good job, but we had a good day in the return game. Mark Mariani gets us started. We're out around between the 35 and the 40-yard line there, and that's a great start. You can see the guys are fired up, and this first half's going to be fun to watch. We should have probably had more points on the board. Rob Schulte with a good catch there. We went up and down the field and didn't capitalize on the great field position and the yardage we had, and wound up with only 2 field goals in the early part of the game.
Mm-hmm. There you see Lex Hilliard, who had just a great day yesterday.
Well, that's his first chance to get muddy, and he's going to get a lot muddier as the day goes on.
Mike Ferreter, 15 yards. That gave the Grizzlies a first down, and you guys sort of, like you said, matriculated it down and ended up with a field goal on this first possession.
Long field goal by Dan Carpenter. Again, we had good movement down the field with the ball, and we got stuck in the red zone a couple times, and that's not what happened the second half. Here's the 51-yarder. That's a big kick with the field being as sloppy and slick as it was. That's a huge play, and it's always good to get on the board first.
Yeah, points on the first possession, and then you guys come out, force a 3 and out, and get the ball right back.
Got it back. Defense did a heck of a job, 3 and out. This probably wasn't where we wanted the ball to go here on the bubble screen, but Mike makes Corey Austin miss there, and we're kind of getting out the gate. And unfortunately, Corey Austin was re-injured his ankle on that play and couldn't come back.
And more Lex. Boy, he was impressive yesterday.
He was impressive, and you know, they just he's a big physical back, and their style of defense is not to take on guys head up. They use their quickness, and they had a hard time handling Lex in our front yesterday.
27 yards on that last run, set up a Dan Carpenter 42-yard field goal, and you guys are up 6-0, but the Cats were able to answer at this point.
Yeah, you know, it's a shame we didn't have 10 at this point. You can see they're having a little trouble running the ball. I think they had 29 yards rushing in the first half, but they did make a couple of plays. We're going to see a couple of them here, I'm sure. Bootleg, rollout, scramble. They made a couple of plays, and you can see Rolovich scrambling, and he's moving around back here, and he kind of throws it up, and we get out of coverage. You can see Colt kind of loses his eyes there, and they get a big play and get it down into the area of the field where they can get some points.
Well, points, to say the least, they get it in on the touchdown. You guys really haven't allowed, I think, only 6 rushing touchdowns on the year coming into this game, and 2 more in this game, both to Crawford.
Yeah, we gave up 2 rushing touchdowns. They did a good job. They had some good field position. They had first and goal inside the 10, and that's we ran zone blitz there and guessed wrong, and they got us creased, and they're in for the touchdown.
So Montana gets the ball back. I believe we are in the second quarter now. And
Steve Failer with a good catch. Yeah, Steve Failer with a nice catch, and he's a load. And you can see him scrapping and clawing for every yard. You can see Cole doing things with his feet. He does a real nice job here of getting yards. And after this play, I told him in this kind of game, that kind of field position, don't bother sliding. It's bad footing. Just make the guy miss.
Lex Hilliard. Get Hilliard another run of 15 yards, making guys miss, dragging guys along.
You see him snapping heads back, breaking tackles. It's going to be hard to arm tackle that lad.
That it is, and that set up Dan Carpenter for a 34-yard field goal attempt, which he missed, only his third missed field goal of the year.
Yeah, we're going to look at Eric Allen here. This is just before we had a chance to make a catch for. They signaled one of the referees signaled a touchdown here, and then the other one ruled it a non-catch. And that's a tough call for them. Even watching the replay, I'm not sure if it was a catch or not.
Well, EA would get his later in the game for sure. Of course, we'll see his touchdowns later. Dan Carpenter's missed field goal, and you guys.
That was the easy one. That was the easy one. Made, huh?
Anyway, good things would be coming later. And by the way, congratulations to Dan Carpenter, now the all-time scoring leader at the University of Montana.
Anytime you go by the Zendejas brothers and Chris Snyder, you've had a good career. A little bootleg action there, and they give us a double move outside. You can see we bought in the play fake, and then you can see them running in for another one here. That was 4th and goal, and it was a real close call on whether he got in or not. The officials saw him get in. He had a better angle than I did, and we're down 14-6, and we come back, and this is going to be a great drive, fun to watch.
That it was, to Ferreter, and then Bergquist to Mark Mariani, and then has Eric Allen.
With 3 timeouts left, we never even got into clock offense here. We were never in hurry-up mode. We were never in no huddle, and we went right down the field on them. It was fun. We almost didn't take enough time off the clock.
If that's such a thing, and this is a play to set up the touchdown, Eric Allen underneath, all the way down.
You can see we're fighting for yards. We're running through tackles, and it's a great deal where our guys are fighting for every dang yard. And you can see Lex is going to get in on this play with 45 seconds left in the half, and we kicked the PAT, and we're down 1 going into halftime. It was a really nice drive, well executed by our offense.
That it was, and with that touchdown, Lex Hilliard becomes the all-time touchdown leader at the University of Montana for career touchdowns. So congratulations to Lex, and of course we would see a lot more of him.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more of him, and it's a big day for Lex and Dan Carpenter. But I know what both of them would say, and they'd say it's the biggest day because our team got a win down in Bozeman and got our 11th straight. Our 16th straight conference win, our 22nd out of 23 games, I think is what it is.
Maybe 23 out of 24.
So 23 out of 24, whatever it is, it's a whole bunch to not very many losses. And I'm really excited with the way it went. And going into the locker room at halftime, I felt real comfortable, felt real confident about our team. I didn't think we completely capitalized on all our opportunities in the first half. I knew we could move the ball on them. I didn't think they could move the ball on us. And frankly, I was excited for the second half.
Well, we'll be excited to go over the second half highlights here in a bit. But first, we're going to check in with a guy who played very well yesterday on the defensive side of the ball. Quentin Jackson is our guest on today's 60 Seconds.
The best thing about Washington Grizzly Stadium?
Crowd.
The person you would most like to meet?
Michael Jordan.
College team you follow other than the Grizzlies?
University of Washington.
Most played on your iPod?
Lil Wayne.
What is your dream car?
Go-kart.
Favorite place to unwind?
Favorite
place to unwind?
The house.
Favorite NFL team?
Seattle Seahawks.
Favorite pro athlete?
LeBron James.
Favorite sports movie?
Any Given Sunday.
Favorite TV show as a kid?
Sports Center, nothing else matters.
Favorite play in the playbook?
Hurricane.
Favorite pre-game meal?
Something home cooked.
Favorite video game?
NCAA 08.
Best Haukism?
A little vulgar, man.
All right. Quentin Jackson, that's the end of your 60 seconds as a Grizzly.
Thank you.
60 Seconds with the Grizzly is brought to you by Ameriprise Financial, Tessier, Losing and Associates, a financial advisory practice.
Welcome back to the Bobby Houck Show, everybody. We're sitting here with head coach Bobby Houck, 11-0 after beating your rivals, the Cats and Bozeman yesterday. That's still got to feel good today.
It does. It feels great, and obviously we're at halftime right now in the show, and we're in the locker room, and I thought the Bobcats did a really nice job keeping it close in the first half. They managed the game well. They made some plays when it counted, and got on the board twice. And in the locker room, we talked about the first play of the second half was going to be the kickoff coverage. We needed great kickoff coverage, and then we wanted a 3-and-out on defense to get the ball back to our offense immediately. And we were a little quicker than that, actually. We're going to see that in a minute.
That we will. You guys were might set better than a 3-and-out. There we see Ryan Begley in a cast.
That is a sad sight. Bags in a cast, and hopefully that heals up quick. I feel sick for him. He's had quite a year.
Quite a career at the University of Montana, and this, to me, was the play of the ball game.
It's a great play. We great call by Craig Paulson. We dropped down into cover 3. The quarterback wasn't ready for Colt to buzz under that out route, and he couldn't get it over him, and Colt made a nice play picking it up. If the field hadn't been so slick, he slid out of bounds right here at our feet. He went out about 2 inches right in front of me here in the mud. Had the field been better, he might have gone for 6 on this one, because he's got it, and you can see his feet. He just slides about 8 inches. But what a great play by him.
You guys get the ball back, and Cole Bergquist to Eric Allen, touchdown Montana, and you guys are starting.
We've been trying to get him to hit the under route there all year long, and he saved it, I guess, for this game, and they couldn't redirect, and Eric went right in the end zone. And at this point, we're up, and we're not going to look back. It's going to end up being a runaway here before the game's over.
So with that play, it didn't take you long at all to take the lead.
Eric, if you're watching, put that ball away.
So there we see Eric Allen. There we see the defense stepping up. Kyle Ryan filling the hole there.
Yeah, you can see that's about 9 of 11 on that pile, getting after him, and it's good to see a ball falling back.
And then Rolovich sacked, which would force 4th down.
Nice job by Mike Stadnik and Craig Metler getting there. We had a hard time. The field conditions were out on our pass rush. I didn't think the one group that didn't handle it as well as some of the others was our defensive line.
So you guys would end up punting on your next possession. Cats get the ball back, and Crawford rips off a big run.
Yeah, he had a couple of big runs in the second half. Did a really nice job. He's a good back. He does a nice job. He sees things. He presses the hole. And you can see him on the draw here, and I believe this is Shan Schillinger is going to get him down here. That was a real big play waiting to happen, but the effort level on our defense is going to keep those from going to the distance.
Yeah, and on this play, Stadnik stopping Crawford for a loss.
Good tackle, pulling it back, and again, you're going to see the Grizz defense swarming the ball. And the ball comes out here. The official on my sideline threw his beanbag, calling it a fumble, but the guys inside there have the ability to say the play was over, and that's what they ruled.
So you guys stop them in the red zone, but they've had problems kicking field goals most of the year.
Yeah, we had good pressure on their kicker, and there's been a lot of to-do made about them not making field goals, but as I said, the field conditions, it's hard for those kickers to get their plant foot down.
So you guys get the ball back. Cole Bergquist to Mike Ferreter.
That's a hand signal play in the blitz. We worked on that all week. Mike really likes that route. Cole likes to throw it, and 20-yard gain with that one.
And then we are in the 4th quarter. Back to the tight end, Stephen Thaler.
The bootleg route's good. Steve's on across the field with a nice catch. Coverage was pretty good there, but Cole fitted in there, and Steve hung on.
That was a big play on 4th and 1 to keep the drive alive, and on the very next play, EA.
Yeah, they tried to press him man-to-man there, and the corner couldn't hold up. He gave him a little in-out move, and the corner couldn't stay with him, and that's a big touchdown on the fade route. Hand signaled again from Cole. You can see good pass protection. They couldn't get there with their blitz, and they put their corner in jeopardy, and he couldn't hang with him.
Cole drops it right in there, his 2nd touchdown pass of the day, and you guys, again, as we said, are off to the races.
Yeah, this is it's getting away from him at this point, and we're starting to have a lot of fun on our sideline.
However, this was a big play. Rolovich.
That's a little bit of a design scramble. You can see some missed tackles, and this one's going to go the distance, except our defensive end hawks that receiver down and beats on him a little bit. That's as good a play as I've seen all year, and that's one that doesn't go down the stat book, but Corey Bierman running their receiver down like he's standing still is quite a play. We just got to keep the quarterback contained is the big problem there, and you can see us. We're missing tackles here. We can't butt people down. We've got to tackle them. The first hit wasn't good. The second hit was good. That's a good tackle by our freshman corner in space there.
And Isaiah Tito driving into the end zone, that for the touchdown, and the missed PAT, or I guess a blocked PAT.
Blocked PAT was a big play. We kind of went after this one. I think it's one of our inside guys got it. I think it was Craig Metler. Got it. Scoop and score here. We had a chance to get two, and Tyler Joyce the block. You can see the blocking's picked up, and he just steps out of bounds by an inch right there, and they call him down, and that's one of those plays where maybe you ought to lateral it.
Nonetheless, you guys get the ball back, and boy, this is where Lex went to work.
So we're going to get a dose of 38. I asked him at halftime if he was ready to carry it 20 times in the second half, and he said, let's go get him, and that's what he did. He went and got him. And you can see Dan Carter and Cody Baylog, among others, leading the charge. What a great job by our offensive line, and a super job by Lex.
Talk a little bit about the toughness of this guy. I mean, he sat out last week after having some work done on his hand, and you could see it was bothering him at times during this game, but still continued to run hard.
No doubt. He's a hard charger. He's a great football player. He's a leader. But he's got great toughness. Great toughness. They're not going to keep him out of the end zone at this point. He's fighting away, and the front smells blood when we get down here, and they're going to get him in.
And there he goes. Career touchdown number 50.
That's 50. 50's a lot.
That's a lot of
touchdowns. Whole bunch of touchdowns. Great job by him.
And of course, the Cats get the ball back, and this is where the wheels really start to come off.
Yeah, they've got to press at this point. They're really behind the 8 ball here, and we get good. Bierman gets good pressure. The tackles have good pressure, and there's nowhere to go with the ball. You can see the coverage downfield's tight, and this is real ill-advised. And Rolovich is a good player. He's an accurate thrower. He's got they call him the gunslinger down there, and sometimes that gets you into trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely some.
Great pick by Lauren Utterback. That's a great job coming up with that ball.
Yes. And you guys get the ball back. How about this run by Lex?
That's fun to watch. Whew. And that's the final nail in the coffin. It's over at this point. And that's the route is on right here.
That it is. Big day for number 38 as a senior. 22 seniors on this team. They really wanted to win, and also something that we were talking about earlier in the day. I like the all whites. I like.
My wife hated them, so that we got a mixed jury here.
I usually don't like all whites, but something about the cream pants with the white tops. I thought it looked good.
Yeah, this is what the guys wanted to wear. They asked me a couple of weeks ago if we could do it at some point this season, and so we saved it for yesterday. And the guys, that's what they wanted to wear, and it's good for our seniors to have some input into what goes on. They get a charge out of it.
Well, you guys haven't played many games on natural turf all year, so might as well wear the whites when they can get dirty, huh?
No doubt. That is a dirty uniform. That guy earned all 180 of those yards, and he got a game ball from the team, and what a special guy and what a special day for him.
A big day for all you guys. A big win over the Cats in Bozeman. 41-20 the final score. I'm sure you had some nice words for your senior there, and the Cats fans weren't happy. You can see them making their way to the exits. And there's the big trophy. What's the name of that thing? It's gigantic.
Great Divide Trophy.
Okay.
And that's that thing. We had to give that back on Thursday, and we had it in our team meeting room. And Metler handed me a victory cigar. That was nice of him. And we have great kids on our team. I tell you what, I love them to death, and that was fun yesterday. They came out charged up, and they played very well and very hard, and if we play like that, we'll be hard to beat.